because of the overnight rain, the first in several days. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. Cubs are one loss away from the end of their season. The Mets have taken a commanding 3-0 series lead in the NLCS, beating the Cubs last night 5-2 at Wrigley Field. The best-of-7 set resumes on the north side later today. Trustees at the College of DuPage have voted to fire its embattled president. Trustees voting 4-1 to remove Robert Bruder in the wake of internal investigations that, according to the resolution, found evidence of misconduct and mismanagement. The decision to fire Bruder voided the Glen Ellen Bay School's $763,000 severance package with him. Former Chicago Alderman Sandy Jackson beginning her one-year prison term. The wife of ex-Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. surrendered yesterday to a minimum security camp in Alderson, West Virginia. She's locked up for tax fraud. Major ride-sharing companies making a push for access to Chicago's airports. Uber releasing television and radio ads yesterday morning, lobbying the city to allow pickups at O'Hare and Midway. Aldermen could vote on that matter next week as part of the mayor's proposed 2016 budget. Illinois lawmakers are pushing forward with a partial spending plan in Springfield. The House Executive Committee approved a bill yesterday that would provide about $2 billion to fund lottery winners and some local 911 emergency services. The measure moves to the full House. Booster shots are being given out at Northern Illinois University. School responding there to an outbreak of the mumps. And Democratic State Representative Frank Mautino will be Illinois' next Auditor General. House voting 102-10 to appoint the Spring Valley Democrat to replace William Holland, who is retiring at the end of the year. We told you about the Cubs and Mets, a 5-2 New York win. Royals are one victory away from returning to the World Series. Royals routed Toronto 14-2 to take a commanding 3-1 series advantage. NBA, Aaron Brooks with 22 as the Bulls beat Indiana 103-94. And Blackhawk defenseman Duncan Keith will be sidelined 4 to 6 weeks after right knee surgery. The news service of Fresh Time celebrate the grand opening of Fresh Time Market in Chicago's Bucktown, Lincoln Park, Crystal Lake, and Naperville. Juicy blackberries, 77 cents for a 6-ounce package. For more grand opening deals, visit FreshTime.com. 5:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager always puts tragedy in perspective.
I'd like a politician on the left, any Democrat, any activist for more gun laws, to be asked this question. What do you think is more likely to reduce murders by firearm? Not by knives even, but by firearms. More gun laws or more fathers?
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with one claim compared to Asurion total equipment coverage as of April 10th, 2015.
Getting a new Galaxy, iPhone, or other smartphone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So protecting your new smartphone is a smart idea. But if you have insurance from one of those big cell phone companies, you're paying way too much. I'm Steve Abernethy, and I founded SquareTrade to give you a better choice. Phone insurance from Verizon, Sprint, or other wireless carriers can cost you as much as $11 every month, plus up to a $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade phone protection is less than $5 a month with a much lower deductible. We can save you over $240. And switching to SquareTrade is easy. Even if you're locked into a 2-year phone contract with Verizon, Sprint, or other wireless carrier, you can cancel their phone insurance anytime. We'll even show you how.
Switch to SquareTrade now and save over $240. Visit SquareTrade.com. That's SquareTrade.com.
SquareTrade!
5:06. Let's get an update on the roads this morning. In our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center, in for Jim, here's Alverde.
Thanks, Mike. In Elgin, we've got a situation. Liberty, north of Summit, is blocked where an earlier accident hit a light pole. ComEd is still on the scene there, and closures in both directions. The UC tonight, Nitro Circus at 7:30, so expect extra heavy traffic before and after. And of course, on the north side, Cubs try to hang on with one more game at least. So anyway, you'll see extra traffic there as well before and after the game. Both sides of the Edens are wide open. No delays on the Kennedy or the Eisenhower. Stevenson 34 either way, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Dan Ryan looks good in both directions. Lakeshore Drive northbound between Chicago and North Avenue is stop and go with some overnight road work till 6 this morning. Traffic is a service of RCN Entertainment Redefined. Get RCN's award-winning MegaFast 155 Internet, plus watch TV anywhere with RCN to go, all for as low as $55.94 per month. It's mega fantastic. RCN Entertainment Redefined, 1-800-RING-RCN or RCN.com. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today breezy and very warm with variable cloudiness and a passing shower in the afternoon, high of 76. A shower in spots for the evening, otherwise clouds will break later tonight with a low of 50. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
58 O'Hare, 59 along the lakefront. Next news 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Market Overdrive with Carla Mina. 2 power hours of real estate trends, secrets, and advice heard every Saturday from 1 to 3 p.m.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I may not be on the road as often as previous speakers, but I pledge to try and make up for it with more time communicating our vision, our message.
Whoa, this is heavy.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey, Scott!
Good morning, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson. So, Jake and the Fat Man have pushed the Cubs to the brink of elimination.
Oh, I like that.
P-H-A-T, Fat Man. You know, Daniel Murphy.
Yeah. Daniel Murphy, I got to tell you.
How was the game last night?
It was disappointing, and then it was wet, Dan. It started pouring down rain and couldn't get home fast enough, running through the streets of Wrigleyville trying to find my house. But it was...
Going to the KFC?
Yeah. It was disappointing, all right? I thought the bats were going to be hot last night, but you can't just win with 2 solo home runs. We had a great deal of hope in the first inning with Schwarber hitting that single shot home run and Soler later on, and then it didn't happen, okay? And Daniel Murphy, I got to love the Christian man, because I got in a fight with somebody last night over Daniel Murphy. Do you know what the controversy surrounding him? He's a devout Christian man, and he is opposed to same-sex marriage. He doesn't, the Bible doesn't tell him so. And, I don't agree with, I respect him for that. And I respect that he's religious. And I got in a fight with somebody yesterday because they were calling him a Christian conservative freak. And I said, no, why is he a conservative freak? He's just a Christian man. And he's standing by his convictions. What is wrong with that? And then I started cheering for Daniel Murphy. And then I had to go home.
Mm-hmm. Cubs fans, they're
a surly bunch.
They're fragile. They're hurt.
Well, it's just they're victimized. I mean, it's like you want it to end. You want it to end. Today was supposed to be the day, because today is October 21st. And if you remember Back to the Future Tube, they predicted October 21st, 2015, the Cubs will win the World Series.
Wait a minute. Cubs win World Series. Yeah, it's something, huh? I wish I could go back to the beginning of the season. Put some money on the Cubbies.
Yeah, it turns out mediocre movies don't have the predictive ability of a Nostradamus. Boy, who would have thought that? Who would have thought Back to the Future would be wrong about the future? It's stunning. Just a FYI for you, the website, DonaldJTrump.com, and then you just go to the store and you can get one of those Make America Great Again hats.
It's too soon. We still have hope. Let's not forget what happened in 2004.
Oh, boy, here we go.
With the Boston Red Sox.
Yes.
If I may.
Yes.
If we can go back in time to 2004, when the Boston Red Sox were down 3 games, similar situation that we are in right now, and they came back and they won the pennant, and then they won the World Series. Okay, this was a big deal. So this could happen. I'm going to the game again tonight. I'm not giving up hope. just not sitting next to that Daniel Murphy fan.
Yes.
I mean, that person who doesn't like him.
Well, I mean, look, it's tough. I mean, it's a hardships that you endure to cheer for the Cubs sitting in the owner's box.
Oh, no.
Against someone that
I wasn't in the owner box
next to,
yesterday.
I should
That's
say.
tonight.
Oh, tonight. Excuse me.
So I don't want to associate them with anything that I just said.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Well, I understand. It's a mixed bag out there.
But fans haven't given up hope, may I? Because it's just so riveting. Fan
it's sad is what
soundbite
it
is very exciting.
Tough one, but a close one. Weather's warm. We're still going to pull through.
Yeah.
A tough one?
Close.
But a close one. It wasn't really close after that crazy knuckleball that Cahill threw in the 7th inning. It wasn't close then after that.
Yeah.
That's when we
Go
knew
ahead
we'd,
run scoring on a wild pitch. Drop strike 3 wild pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Again, Cubs kind of reverting back to the Cubs that we have come to know and generally loathe for the last 107 years.
But
that
don't you want
they
us-
find a way to lose?
Okay,
Yeah.
that's true. But don't you want us to win so that we could
No.
stop complaining?
No.
No?
No, I
Like,
want-
get it over with. Let's start anew.
This
Get it
is
over with.
the fact that the Cubs will never win a World Series is punishment, appropriate punishment,
Oh.
penance, if you will, for being a Cubs fan, which is a kind of baseball for people who hate baseball.
Wow.
Yeah.
100 years is not enough. 101 years.
107.
107.
1908. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't do math.
And counting. I barring this comeback that you're
You
predicting.
are quite gleeful this morning.
Well, it's not gleeful. I mean, it's kind of like a shoulder shrug. Of course. Of course this was going to happen.
No,
I know
not
the
of-
Cardinals thing was exciting. It was fun. You beat a banged-up Cardinals team. That's won 11 championships since the Cubs last won a World Series. But but it just was inevitable. But here's some solace.
Okay.
The Royals.
Yeah.
It turns out, kind of a funny story. Turns out that the White Sox were in the best division in baseball.
Oh,
not
here
the
you
Cubs.
go. There you go.
Because the Royals are going to the World Series. They're up 3-1.
That doesn't mean they're going to go.
The last AL team to beat the Royals, you know who it was? The Legoo boys, the father and son Legoo team that took to the field and beat up the Royals' first base coach. Those are fans that want to win.
Now, he had a mullet and a stash, and they had gone to the Cubs game before.
He
And then
didn't have
took
a conscience.
Took
That's
the
what
red
he didn't
line
have.
to the cell.
Oh, yeah. No, and there was an interview that the kid gave
great.
after, the arrest and all that. And he regrets. No regrets.
Yeah.
Because that's what Sox fans do.
You beat up.
They go to the
coaches.
mat for the Sox. And if that means a first base coach has to be a casualty of the series, then that's just how it has to
He
be.
had quite the head wound, didn't he?
I mean, I'm just suggesting you may, if you're a Cubs fan, you may want to put a call into the Legoo boys and see if they're willing to show up and escort Daniel Murphy to the plate, if you know what I mean. Mike on the north side. Hey, Mike.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
The World Series, so they stop whining, is like raising taxes to keep Mike Madigan happy. It doesn't work. My vacuum cleaner stopped working, so I put a Cubs shirt on it, and now it sucks again. How do the Cubs?
Oh, thanks for the call, Mike.
Mike.
Greg in LaGrange.
Hey, how you doing? I would just be careful and say it's not over yet. I don't want to go to the ridiculous 2004 comparisons, but I got to agree with Bill Murray. Bill Murray came out yesterday and said, you know what? I think it might be better if the Cubs don't win.
Why?
Because our fans will turn into jerks, like the Boston Red Sox fans turn into jerks.
They were already jerks.
And Amy, you experienced how bad Cub fans are. They're moronic. It's a playground. It's an amusement park.
It's
there are
the
great
world's
Cub
largest
fans.
beer garden.
There are great Cub fans out there that know baseball, but most of them are out there for the amusement and the frivolity of just being at that, waste of electric.
Greg, would you agree with me that most of the Cub fans, the overwhelming majority of Cub fans who are under the age of 40, are not baseball fans?
I agree with you 100%. It's a party.
Well, I tried to do a radio bit.
Thanks for the call,
Greg
Greg.
and Dan and I went up to hot-looking women and said, can you name 3 players? Just, because I thought it would be funny. Everybody nailed it. So there goes my idea for a radio bit. I thought it would be, name 3 players.
What 3 players did they name?
Well, the
Mark
easy-
Grace.
No, yeah.
Who else?
Rick Sutcliffe, Ryan Sam.
Kerry Wood and
Kerry Wood.
Mark Pryor.
No, they named, Arietta. They just named them all. They all had different choices. They all had different crushes on different guys.
You know, it would be these were women you were talking to.
Yeah, who had crushes on players. Yeah.
What about the guys?
I didn't ask the guy. You
well,
know
it
what?
sounds that's a little discriminatory,
That's
especially
what
in
I
Wrigleyville.
I should have asked the guys.
Yeah.
Is it too late for the radio bit?
No, somebody
Maybe
else
for tomorrow.
Somebody else you may want to call since he's decided to weigh in on this. Call President Obama and ask him to name 3 Cubs players. He's a Sox fan. He can't name 1 Sox player.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
How you doing? Okay, today variable cloudiness, breezy, but it's going to be very warm. We have a chance of a passing afternoon shower, a high in the mid to upper 70s. And then tonight for the Game 4 of the NLCS, it's going to be 63 degrees come game time. And tomorrow, cooler with sunshine, a high of 63. Let's see how the traffic's doing. Here's Al Verdi.
Hey, Amy, Dan. In Elgin, we have a situation. Liberty, north of Summit, still working their ComEd crews are on the scene, and there are closures from an earlier crash that struck a light pole. West side tonight, you see there's a Nitro Circus performing at 7:30. You'll see extra traffic in the area. And, of course, the Cubs try to hold on, so 7:07 start, and see extra traffic in the area there as well. Both sides of the Edens are in great shape. No delays on the Kennedy. Eisenhower in or out 29 from Thorndale to the post office. Stevenson is wide open. Dan Ryan either way is 15 minutes, 95th to downtown. No more delays to report on 57 or Bishop Ford. Lakeshore Drive had some earlier road work that looks to have cleared now. Elgin O'Hare traffic looks good. Tri-State Adams, Reagan Veterans Memorial 5380 all wide open. Indiana tolls look good too. I'm Al Verdi in the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients. Balance of Nature doesn't make any claims of treating or curing any particular disease, but I think the results speak for themselves.
I stopped taking artificially produced multivitamins, and I tried the Balance of Nature because it just makes sense. What's more natural than actual food? It just rings true. It just makes sense, and from a scientific standpoint, it makes sense also. You're supposed to be getting nutrition from whole foods. I definitely feel better overall. My energy level is better.
When you can give your body a full variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in their 100% natural, whole food form, you receive the unmatched balance of nutrition. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
Hi, I'm Tom Sadeka, CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 32-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. Every chance I get, we like to thank our active duty military and our veterans. In addition, we proudly serve and support Operation Support Our Troops America.
Thanks, Tom. I'm Deb Rickert, founder of OSAD America, mom of 2 service members, and 1 happy Precision Payroll client. We are so happy to work with Tom's team at Precision Payroll to take care of those regulatory headaches so that we can focus on serving our active duty and veteran communities. Your support is so important. Thank you.
Deb, thanks for all you do. And anybody who's listening who signs up with us, we will make a donation to OSAT America on their behalf. So please call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507. Or on the web at precisionpayroll.com. Let's make a difference together.
You own a European auto and you love it. Style and performance, it's not a car. You own a special engineering work of art. I know, because I own one too. This is Dan Proft for Midwest Performance Cars. Through the month of October, Midwest Performance Cars will do a $39 winter prep inspection on your European car. A $39 winter prep inspection. And they'll top off all your fluids. That's a $125 value for just $39. Through October only. Drop off your European car, and they'll give you transportation to work. Call them at 312-432-9492. That's 312-432-9492. They know your car and love it as much as you do. Midwest Performance Cars specializes in repairs and maintenance of European autos, including Porsche, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, and Land Rover. How good are they? Go ahead, read the Google and Yelp reviews.
Located in Chicago's West Loop at the corner of Lake and Ogden. Free Lyft and Uber shuttle service available. MidwestPerformanceCars.com, the dealer alternative, and expert source for European auto maintenance and repair.
AM 560, The Answer.
I'm licking my wounds this morning. Not feeling so good, Dan. Is it going to go away anytime soon? This cubitis I have?
It's going to go away probably tonight. If not Game 5 in New York, I suspect. You'll be fine. Yeah, that hat will become that Trump hat, the Make America Great hat. It'll become like second skin.
That could be my Halloween costume. I could throw on a blue blazer and some Docker shoes and go for it.
Yeah.
Put down my Catwoman suit I bought and be Donald Trump.
I like it. On to matters that actually matter in the annals of Western civilization. Paul Ryan, vice presidential nominee back there in 2012, Republican from Kenosha, chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, currently likes the job, doesn't want the job as speaker, but he's warming up to the idea.
I cannot and I will not give up my family time. I may not be on the road as often as previous speakers, but I pledge to try and make up for it with more time communicating our vision, our message. What I told members is, if you can agree to these requests, and if I can truly be a unifying figure, then I will gladly serve.
So the condition is that there are no conditions. That's the condition for Paul Ryan to be speaker, meaning the Freedom Caucus, the 40 or so conservatives that wanted certain stipulations from the next speaker. There are going to be no such stipulations. There may be kind of general statements of a desire for unity and inclusion of other people's ideas and more empowerment of backbench conservative members. But there's not going to be specific things that some members of Congress might want. And, of course, there is great inertia behind a Paul Ryan speakership because it's perceived to be that he can be the unifying figure that he expressed a desire to be.
Well, wasn't the Freedom Caucus, didn't they have the power to oust John Boehner? And he wants to remove that provision if he becomes speaker. And by the way, guys, you have to decide by Friday.
Yeah.
I mean, what is this? This is a side of Paul Ryan I've never seen before. First of all, man up. I want to spend more time with my family. We all want to spend more time with our family. It's called life. And your kids adjust.
What if your family doesn't want to spend more time with you?
Well,
I always wonder that. Have you ever thought, it's very self-indulgent. Have you ever asked your family, maybe they like you being gone more? Right?
That's true.
So it's
when
kind
all
of a
these
two-way
people
street.
retire to spend more time with their family.
Yeah.
But no, I just think Paul Ryan should, I like him. I just think he should man up a little bit and not, I mean, I understand you want to, take into consideration your family time. I've got my kids are the same age as his, I would love to spend more time with my family. It just, sometimes life gets in the way.
Well, right. And it's not like Paul Ryan isn't currently rather busy.
Yeah, he lives in D.C.
And he ran on the presidential ticket in 2012. That turns out to be kind of a time-consuming exercise.
Just a little bit.
Now, the nice thing about Paul Ryan is that, as we've discussed before, he is vetted like no other potential speaker candidate because of his run as the vice presidential nominee with Mitt Romney in 2012. So that's good. I think, personally, I think he's a stand-up guy. I think he's a straight arrow. So that's all good. We won't have any of those side issues, any of those diversions, any of those problems. But the reluctance...
It's very strange. I think he just wants more time for CrossFit training.
Yeah,
really,
right.
I mean...
He wants to...
Well, he has to make sure he works out every day. He's got a great body, good for him, and I'm sure he's in... excellent shape, but I'm just saying maybe that's
you get a hold of yourself over there. He wants to actually hit that marathon time he said he hit.
Yeah,
that was not the case. But the thing with Paul Ryan, you mentioned it. He wants agreement that there will be no motion to vacate the chair, and during his term as speaker, so that there isn't this internal acrimony that bubbles up into a big national spat and the appearance of chaos within the House. He wants to avoid that. That's what he's talking about when he talks about being a unifying figure. And that's all well and good. But I think there are still legitimate questions you can ask about the direction that he would want to take the caucus, where he is going to give and where he isn't. You don't have to make them litmus tests, but you should know where your putative leader wants to take the caucus, because there are disagreements in the caucus. There always will be, and it's how you handle those disagreements. But as Ryan is described as someone who is kind of philosophically talented and a good communicator, and he's tactically pragmatic. But I think there's some disagreement about whether his pragmatism is strictly tactical or does it bleed into his political philosophy as well. And there are examples of this, like the GM bailout, like allying with Gutierrez to push what really was tantamount to an amnesty bill. So there are some legitimate questions. Is Paul Ryan the candidate most likely to unify most of the House Republican caucus at this point? Probably. But it doesn't mean that the conversation should end there because he's the right man for the job at this point in time, even if he's the reluctant right man. I just wish you always want people who want to do the job.
Right.
You don't want them to kind of feel like they're being backed into it.
Well, they're dragging their feet and, maybe I'll go out with you. Maybe I won't. I mean, there's this courting period where clearly he just wants everything on his own terms, which if he has the power to get what he wants, good for him, but make a decision. Last night he had another closed-door meeting with GOP leaders deciding what he's going to do. But if not him, then who?
This is a done deal.
It's a done deal?
I think
Okay.
he's going to be the speaker. I think there's going to be a coalescing around him. And frankly, this is a very interesting time for the GOP establishment as it's cracking up per what is occurring at the presidential level. And they need someone like Paul Ryan to feel like there's some stability within the party. So you've got Paul Ryan, you've got McConnell. But if Paul Ryan turns into McConnell, or if Paul Ryan turns into, to some extent, what Boehner had become the last part of his tenure as Speaker, then you're going to have what happened to Boehner and what's happening in McConnell continue to replay itself, because right now there's a bit of a struggle for the soul of the Republican Party, and that's not necessarily a bad thing.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
It's easy to take your commercial HVAC system for granted. It's always there, keeping your building comfortably warm or cool. Until you have a system failure. With another unforgiving Chicago winter just around the corner, now's the time to have a comprehensive review of your mechanical HVAC system. And you don't want just anyone. You want Air Comfort, Chicagoland's leading mechanical professionals. For over 80 years, Air Comfort has delivered its customers the best trained and highly skilled team of award-winning technicians. That's why Air Comfort is recognized as Star Certified by the MSCA, a designation achieved by only 2% of contractors nationwide. With a service fleet of more than 80 fully equipped vehicles, chances are that an Air Comfort technician is nearby. Schedule your system check by calling now, 708-345-1900. That's 708-345-1900 or online at aircomfort.com. Recently, Chicago heard about the horrific accident involving your company's IT guy, Steve Areno. Turns out Steve Areno is healing, but he's just filed a disability claim, leaving your company's IT needs up in the air. It's a good thing you didn't wait to call Turnkey IT. Turnkey IT immediately lifted the burden of monitoring and securing your company's networks. And as a result, your business didn't lose a beat. The giant question mark created by your lack of IT help was answered with one phone call. Turnkey IT is there no matter what happens to your computer system, with pros that provide live guidance and support. There's never been a question of if your company needs help. It's always been when. Instead of feeling anxiety when facing technical difficulties, you rest easy knowing that Turnkey IT handles it all. That leaves you to focus on the one thing that matters most, your business. Visit turnkey.pro and end your computer and network issues once and for all. That's turnkey.pro.
AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, a big shakeup for the presidential candidates on the Democratic side. We'll explain.
Yeah, with Jim Webb out, I'm predicting Lincoln Chafee will move past Eugene V. Debs. He's going to get a bump. And then Halloween costume That's causing a bit of controversy. A Halloween costume that Amazon is offering that's causing a bit of controversy. We'll have that at 5:45.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say hello to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. 58 degrees right now. Winds out of the south at 8. The coming days will tell if Wisconsin Republican Paul Ryan can win consensus support among congressional Republicans or become the latest victim of the chaos surrounding the choice of a new speaker. Ryan told House Republicans yesterday he will gladly serve as their speaker, but only if they embrace him by week's end.
What I told members is, if you can agree to these requests, and if I can truly be a unifying figure, then I will gladly serve.
You've been talking about it with Dan and Amy this morning, and there is new news on this morning as Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz says officially he's dropping out of the race for Speaker. In a tweet late last night, the Utah Republican said he was throwing his support behind Paul Ryan. The American Cancer Society adjusting its recommendations when it comes to women getting mammograms.
Beginning at age 45. Now, this is a change from their prior recommendation was beginning at age 40, but beginning now at age 45, they recommend women have routine screening mammograms.
Dr. Laura Shepardson is with the Cleveland Clinic, say the new guidelines change the age at when women should start having those screenings. At age 55, the American Cancer Society now says they should get mammograms every other year. An NYPD officer is dead, shot in East Harlem late last night. A 5-year veteran of the force, Police Commissioner Bill Bratton.
Did what every other officer in the NYPD does. When the call comes, he ran toward danger. It was the last time he will respond to that call.
Meantime, a funeral planned Friday for Aiken County, Minnesota Sheriff's Deputy Stephen Sandberg. The 60-year-old was monitoring a domestic violence patient at a St. Cloud hospital when Danny Hammond grabbed the 60-year-old's gun and shot him to death in the hospital. Toyota recalling 6.5 million vehicles worldwide, including more than 2.5 million in North America to fix a defective window power switch. Cubs one loss away from the end of their season. Mets have a commanding 3-0 series advantage in the NLCS after last night's 5-2 win at Wrigley Field. Trustees at the College of DuPage have voted to fire its embattled president, Robert Bruder. Trustees voting 4-1 late last night to remove Bruder in the wake of the internal investigations that, according to the resolution, found evidence of misconduct and mismanagement. Former Chicago Alderman Sandy Jackson beginning her 1-year prison term at a minimum security camp in Alderson, West Virginia. A woman arrested several times for trying to board airplanes without a ticket, including here in Chicago at O'Hare, has finally agreed to undergo a mental exam. Marilyn Hartman's most recent arrest was on July 4 here in Chicago. Her lawyer met with prosecutors and a Cook County judge yesterday. She is due back in court in a couple of weeks. We told you about the Cubs and Mets. Rookie Steven Matz gets the start for the Mets tonight as the Cubs try and stay alive with Jason Hamill. Royals are a victory away from returning to the World Series, routing Toronto 14-2. Blackhawk defenseman Duncan Keith sidelined for up to 6 weeks after right knee surgery. The news, a service of Fresh Times, celebrate the grand opening of Fresh Time Farmers Markets in Chicago's Bucktown, Lincoln Park, Crystal Lake, and Naperville. Juicy blackberries, just 77 cents for a 6-ounce package. For more grand opening deals, visit FreshTime.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity doesn't believe Hillary's new persona.
She's going to make a concerted effort on the campaign trail now to be funny, to be warm, to be transparent.
Just because she says it doesn't make it true.
She's not funny, she's not a warm person, and she's not somebody that has a lot of fidelity to the truth. I mean, it's the exact opposite.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Create a new family tradition during Panama City Beach's first beach home for the holidays, November 27th and 28th, featuring Christmas concerts, a tree lighting, and more. Play now at visitpanamacitybeach.com/holidays.
The sounds of an accident. You or a loved one has been injured. Your mind is racing. What happened? Is everyone okay? What now?
I'm Dan Compton of Compton Law Group. We know that at a time like this, you want answers. More importantly, you want justice for what has taken place. If you or a loved one has been injured, please, before you sign something or talk to anyone, call Compton Law Group. This is our specialty, fighting for your rights, fighting for you, and making sure that justice is served. You can reach me at 847-742-6100. That's 847-742-6100. It's my job to make sure that you, your family, and your loved ones are protected and compensated properly. We handle nursing home accidents, car, truck, and motorcycle accidents, construction accidents, and medical malpractice.
When accidents happen, and they will happen, make sure you have Compton Law Group on your side. 847-742-6100 or online at ComptonLawGroup.net. When accidents happen, take the appropriate action with Compton Law Group, located in Elgin and serving all of Chicagoland.
In our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center this morning, in for Jim, here's Al.
Hey, Mike. In Elgin, we've got a closure. Liberty at Algona is closed because of an earlier accident. A light pole is down there. ComEd's on the scene. In Oak Park, Washington is shut down east of Ridgeland because of an earlier fire. And as Mike was saying, last chance for the Cubs tonight to hang on. So 7:07, expect extra traffic in the area of Wrigley Field. Both sides of the Edens are wide open. Kennedy looks good. No delays on the Eisenhower. Stevenson in between Cicero and Kedzie. A little bit of a slowdown. 36 from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound is just fine. Dan Ryan inbound from the Stevenson to the Circle is slow. 19, 95th to downtown. Traffic's a service of UPSjobs.com, seeking a seasonal tractor-trailer drivers throughout Chicagoland, especially Northbrook, Palatine, Franklin Park, and Bedford Park. Seasonal drivers will receive competitive pay and must have a commercial driver's license. Apply now at UPSjobs.com/radio. A great job and great pay in one package. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Cloudy, breezy. Warm this afternoon with another passing shower, high 76. 58 at O'Hare, 54 in Aurora, and your next news update is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
Joe Walsh here. Joe Biden, yes or no? Does anybody care? I'll have the answer when freedom returns at 5.
Because, baby, now we got bad blood. You know it used to be bad blood. So take a look at what you've done.
This is
Mark
O'Malley.
Now we got bad blood. Hey!
Now we got
On The View with the ladies there singing Bad Blood. He decided to sing that song because
he's a big Taylor Swift fan?
All that too, but Katy Perry endorsed his opponent Hillary Clinton, so he went on The View yesterday, and at first, they're like, come on, we know.
Who is he doing that duet with? Aaron Schock?
No, those are the ladies on The View. Paula Ferris was singing and all that, but at first, they tried to coax him into singing, but he had his guitar behind him.
Take us to break, Governor O'Malley. Yeah, go ahead.
Really? Right now?
Yes. Are we putting you on the spot? Take your blazer off.
Sorry, I just happen to have my guitar with me,
Michelle just screamed, take your blazer off.
Took his blazer off and hit the screen.
Okay. First of all, the guitar's emerald green. Bring it on. It's gorgeous. Bring it. Let's see what you got.
So, what do we do here?
Oh, wow. All right.
All right, there. One of Katy Perry, I'm told, is doing like a benefit concert for one of my opponents in Iowa. So, in response, I thought I'd offer this up for
better be a
Taylor Swift.
Taylor's my girl.
I mean, literally, he did one of those. Me? You want me to play? Oh, look, I just happen to have my guitar here. Then he stands up and was still acting humble and, oh, me? Little old me?
If you put all the ladies on the set together, and I'm including Marty O'Malley, you couldn't come up with a single personality if you added them all up.
No.
By the way, interesting, Katy Perry is doing a benefit concert for Hillary. I assume the night of, or the theme of that night, that performance will be I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It.
Booyah, very good.
Thank you very much.
Yes, that's good. You've been working on that all morning. But once he finally, got over the shock that they chose him to sing, You have to hear it again. Here he is.
Because, baby, now we got bad blood. You know it used to be bad blood. So take a look at what you've done. That maybe now we got bad blood.
Hey!
Yeah.
Now we got
Now we got tone deafness.
Okay,
Okay,
Isn't
Marty.
he an Irish singer or something?
His Ides of March, isn't he
Yes.
like a member of the Ides of March? No, he's
He's in a
Celtic something. Celtic March? Celtic Crossing? Oh, no, that's where I drink. It's just, something like that. That's
a bar in Chicago.
That's Marty O'Malley's feature. And that now concludes the Marty O'Malley candidacy.
Well, he didn't drop out, but somebody who dropped out of the Democratic Party was Jim Webb, and he slammed the DNC for allowing dominance of...
Not letting him talk.
Hillary Clinton. He's upset that she stole his thunder.
Why, as an independent, do you think you could gain that traction that you couldn't gain as a Democrat?
Oh, I think it's been very difficult in the Democratic Party primary process with the dominance of one candidate, not only in her candidacy, but in the structure of the Democratic Party, the financing structures, the hierarchies themselves, the DNC. So it's been, a very careful process that I put forward here. And again, as I said, I have issues that I care about that maybe aren't in line with that particular hierarchy. So we'll see. And I'll tell you this, if you look at polls on where the American people are on these issues that I'm talking about, they are more in line with what I have been saying than they are in the Democratic Party's hierarchy.
Mm-hmm. So he claims that Americans are more in agreement with him on certain policies than the hierarchy, meaning Hillary Clinton. I don't know why nobody is saying her name. Just say her name, Hillary Clinton.
Doesn't want to give her name ID.
I know. I mean, seriously, that's what it was. But yeah, he's running as an independent.
Do you still consider yourself a Democrat, though? Would you use that term to describe yourself?
We'll think about that.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, here's the real thing that's going on, and Jim Webb didn't say it, although he just intimated it there in that last bite you played, is that there's no place for Jim Webb in the Democratic Party. 40%, anywhere from a third to 40% of the party is currently supporting an avowed socialist who is kind of out of his gourd. Jim Webb and the answers that he gave on a number of issues, not to mention his military service, that is not something that is attractive.
Well, and he also got an A rating from the NRA.
Well, that's another good example. These are not things that are attractive to the base of the Democrat Party in its current incarnation. They're just not. This is a hard, progressive left party where you have Hillary and trying to get over further to the left, certainly left of Obama, and she's closing in on Bernie Sanders with some of the issue positions she's felt she needed to take. I mean, she doesn't believe anything, so this is all positioning. But where she feels the party is, where she feels she needs to be in terms of positioning, that's the sad commentary on the Democratic Party, just how wackadoodle left it is. It is being driven. This isn't, this is part of it in a broad coalition, the rich tapestry of the... No. It is being driven by Black Lives Matter. It's being driven by MoveOn.org. It's being driven by the hard left. Those people who applaud when you have a 72-year-old man who didn't have a job until his 40s get up there and talk about confiscating everybody's money.
Yeah, and redistribution. It's crazy. But Joe Biden yesterday, Vice President Biden, he did nothing to stop the rumors that he might be announcing sometime this week whether or not he's going to be one of those progressives and run for office. And again, attacked Hillary Clinton. He was on stage yesterday with former Vice President Walter Mondale at a forum in D.C. and didn't stop any of the rumors.
I still have a lot of Republican friends. I don't think my chief enemy is the Republican Party.
And of course, he said that because Hillary Clinton listed her enemies during the debate and mentioned the Republican Party and then laughed.
Well, there's
comparing us to terrorists.
It's an interesting piece in Bloomberg by Megan McArdle Democrats wasted their chance to test Clinton. And we'll see if maybe Joe Biden will resuscitate that chance. She writes, this is McCardle, can Clinton survive a race against a more gifted campaigner in a nation with considerably more conservatives than New York has? Now would be a good time for the Democrats to find out. At least they could see how she performs under pressure from politicians who are out for blood. Instead, they mostly, and she's talking about the debate specifically, instead they mostly treated her like a delicate ant whose ears must be protected from harsh words. And she's pointing, of course, when Bernie Sanders, said about who cares about your damn emails. I'm sick of talking about your damn emails, and we're otherwise dancing around her. McCardle goes on to write, Lincoln Chafee's attempt to bring up the email issue was probably the closest they came to the sort of sling she will suffer in the general election campaign, but it was not very close since he delivered this with the frightened determination of a second grader giving his first speaking role in the Christmas play. And now you know why I cited the McCardle piece, because I just wanted to read that line. Great comparison. But that's really that. It's another good point. The Democrats are doing themselves a disservice by genuflecting before Hillary. That's, I think, in part what Jim Webb is saying. We'll see if Joe Biden decides to do the same. Tony in Downers Grove.
Hey, Dan, the amount of comments in social media after the Canadians won the election it's frightening, to say the least. To just see what people write, the ignorance is, I don't know, I don't get it. But something else I wanted to ask you, Dan. How is it, I watched the interview with Ben Bernanke talking about the good graces of the Dodd-Frank bill, and yet anybody that you talk to in banking or in business says that if you're a small business or any independent business, it's very hard to get a loan.
That's right.
So how does this guy stand up there and extol the big virtues of Dodd-Frank because it's reigning in the banking industry, yet it's having a devastating effect on the very core of what makes this country run?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Tony. I mean, because these are central bankers who believe in central banking, not free market banking, where you do extend lines of credit to entrepreneurs. And also, you don't have the government creating moral hazards so that you take risks that you otherwise would not necessarily take, to wit, the housing bubble that burst. But that's the difference, and that's part of the debate that we'll have in the general election. Hillary's the nominee. She'll move to the right, but what she said in the primary, trying to fend off Bernie Sanders, won't be forgotten.
Oh, boy, what a debate. And to think, at the center of it all was me, Lincoln Davenport Chafee. Well, good night, America. Bye forever.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Still makes me laugh. Coming up next, a Halloween costume that's causing quite a controversy. But first, here's your forecast. We're going to have cloudy skies. It will be breezy, but unseasonably warm. Get this, a high of 76 degrees. We do have a chance of a passing afternoon shower. For tonight's game, it'll be 66 degrees, no rain in the forecast. And tomorrow, a lot cooler with a partial sunshine, a high of 63 degrees. Let's get the travel times, and here's Al Verdi in for Jim Telemonte.
Hey, Amy, Dan, we have a situation in Elgin. Liberty at Algona is closed due to an earlier accident. A light pole is down. ComEd is on the scene there. And in Oak Park, Washington Boulevard, East of Ridgeland, that is still closed due to an earlier fire. Northside, Cubs try one more time tonight, so 7:07. Expect extra traffic before and after the contest. And on the Adams eastbound, traffic is jammed up between Arlington Heights Road and Bussey, where an accident has a left lane block. It's a multi-vehicle accident, say 5 vehicles involved. Both sides of the Edens look good. We've got no delays in or out on the Kennedy. Eisenhower 29 either way, Thorndale to the post office. Stevenson in slows from Central to Kedzie. Outbound is fine. Dan Ryan inbound. It's a breaks between the Stevenson and the Burns Circle. 19 in from 95th to downtown. 57 inbound slows 103rd to the Ryan. I'm Al Verdi in the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
So often on this show, we talk about the important issues that affect your world, like the economy, education, foreign policy. But because there's always so much going on, we don't always have the time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. It's one of the reasons I'm involved with the new website, along with the Illinois Policy Institute, called Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com. At Upstream Ideas, you'll find info that will enlighten the discussions we're having here on this show and elsewhere. At Upstream Ideas, we broaden the parameters of debate and move beyond the same old partisan assumptions. In other words, we're pushing against the current and thinking upstream. So go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. I'll have a long-form interview with Chicago Tribune editorial board member Kristen McQuarrie up on the site this week. And with each visit to Upstream Ideas, you'll be armed with new info and fresh perspectives to spur you on to make the state of Illinois and the good old USA a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized.
This is Amy Jacobson, and I want to thank all the AM 560 listeners who have purchased thousands of MyPillows over the last 18 months and are enjoying your best sleep ever. But that still leaves thousands of you who haven't taken advantage of the buy one, get one free offer. What are you waiting for? It's so important to get a great night's sleep. I can't live without mine. I even take it on vacations. It's American made, and when it gets dirty, just throw it in the washer and dryer. No need to take it to an expensive dry cleaner. So don't wait any longer. MyPillow helps with snoring, headaches, neck pain, insomnia, allergies, and more. Plus, MyPillow is washable and keeps its shape to give you support where you need it most. That's why it was named the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. For the MyPillow buy one, get one free offer, visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. Please use the promo code AMY. Do it now, 800-489-0201 or online at MyPillow.com. Promo code AMY, 800-489-0201.
Hey, if your company manufactures or markets pharmaceuticals, biologics, medical devices, or APIs, you know the challenges of systems integration, FDA compliance, and staffing. To gain access to Chicagoland's top life sciences engineering, quality assurance, project management, regulatory software, and validation professionals, you need the experts at Automated Systems, Inc. All of ASI's resources are degreed professionals with decades of industry experience in manufacturing, automation, and FDA compliance. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life science companies to successful startups. For over a quarter of a century, ASI has excelled through a culture of execution and client success. For information about staffing or a no-obligation compliance or automation evaluation, call Laz at Automated Systems toll-free at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit automatedsys.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI.
AM 560, The Answer.
So I wasn't going to go, I wasn't going to dress up for Halloween or go to any Halloween parties, but I may be changing my mind now that there's such controversy surrounding this costume.
Is this the Caitlyn Jenner costume? With the moose knuckles?
Yes.
I didn't even know what that was until I met you.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't know what it was.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
Amazon.com is taking flack from transgender activists who are complaining about the selling of a Halloween costume, the Ladyboy Halloween costume.
The shim?
Which features a sequin slip dress and a lifelike male appendage made out of fabric.
Nice fit!
Yes. The outfit is described as a tastelessly brilliant costume idea that comes complete with, quote, male genitalia in a light skin tone color, hidden behind a fabric flap which fastens in place with Velcro and can be lifted to reveal yourself or let down to protect your modesty.
So like a loincloth?
Very functional.
A loincloth? Do you have a picture?
Yeah, look,
Let
and
me see.
There's a model here. It's like a 195-pound jacked out dude with a 5 o'clock shadow. Yeah, look at that.
Oh,
that looks pretty good.
It's a man, baby.
Oh, Dan.
Yeah.
It's awful.
What is to be upset about that?
Oh my gosh, that's obscene. You can't walk around the neighborhood where there's children. Halloween is for kids. And if somebody put this on and was walking around our neighborhood, they'd be taken down.
I think
taken down to Bushtown.
I think the complaining is all a front because I think that's the costume that Caitlyn Jenner wanted to wear, and now everybody's going to be wearing it.
Moose knuckles.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago. This is a city of hardworking, dedicated people. So when you need a team to design, construct, and finish your project on time and on budget, look no further than to CPMH Construction. CPMH Construction is a full-service construction company specializing in commercial and industrial projects, along with sewer, excavation, and parking lot design. This MBE certified business uses the technology you want and puts it in the hands of their skilled crew of tradesmen. Tradesmen who are loaded with the know-how and experience to address every detail of your job, meeting your standard of excellence. At CPMH, client satisfaction is the foundation of their success, which is why 97% of their clients return for additional services. Call CPMH today at 312-929-2345. That's 312-929-2345. Or visit cpmhconstruction.com and let them develop and implement a plan that ensures you the success of your next big project.
You've invested your heart and soul into your business, and the way you conduct yourself can have long-term effects on its success. The same goes for your business insurance. Your policy's coverage and reaction time when you have a loss can also have long-term effects on your business's success. Knowing the right amount of coverage and how to manage risk is what Heil & Heil Insurance Agency does best. At Heil & Heil, they provide you with a specialized commercial agent who can work with your business to keep it successful while minimizing risk. Let Heil & Heil find the best ways to protect it and reinvest the savings back into it. Call Heil & Heil Insurance today at 847-866-7400 for a free comprehensive evaluation of your business insurance. That's 847-866-7400, or visit them online, heilandheil.com.
Make sure your business is in the best position to succeed. Call Heil & Heil Insurance today, 847-866-7400, or visit heilandheil.com.
Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba. Glad you're here with us today. HealthQuest Radio is Chicagoland's longest-running health news and science program. I've been an integrated healthcare practitioner for over 33 years now, and if you've been wondering what it's like to be a patient in our HealthQuest offices, well, take a look at our website. Go to healthquestradio.com under Testimonials and Tales of Wonder, right on the homepage, where you'll find many encouraging stories of success straight from our patient's mouth. Would you like to be done with those migraine headaches, get your insulin under control, feel more energetic, maybe having better sex, get that libido in gear again, discover why you eat for every emotion, and then get it under control? On medication and want to be off of it? Whatever health challenges you the most, you can schedule your new patient consult with me just by calling our HealthQuest Radio hotline at 800-794-1855. That's 800-794-1855.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with one claim compared to Assurant and total equipment coverages of August 10, 2015.
Getting a new iPhone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So protecting all the phones in your family is a smart idea. But if you have insurance through your wireless carrier, you're paying way too much. I'm Steve Abernethy, and I founded SquareTrade to give you a better choice. Phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $11 a month. For a family of 4, that's $44 every month. Plus, up to a $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade family protection plans cost less than $4 a month per phone with a much lower deductible. We can save your family over $500. Whether you've got a new iPhone or any other smartphone, stop overpaying for phone insurance and protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade instead.
Protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade and save over $500. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
Mets beat the Cubs to take a 3-0 series lead in the NLCS. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. After much Republican arm twisting, Paul Ryan says he would agree to be House Speaker, but
I cannot and I will not give up my family time.
And the GOP congressman has other conditions to taking the job. Fox News Radio's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
The Wisconsin Republican who has young children also says he'll only run if the Republican Party gets behind him.
And if I'm not unifying, that will be fine as well. I'll be happy to stay where I am at the Ways and Means Committee.
The 45-year-old former vice presidential nominee has resisted pressure to take on bigger roles for years. He says he'll make a final decision by the end of the week to see if he gets support from all factions in the GOP caucus. House Majority Leader Kevin McCarthy was widely expected to replace outgoing Speaker John Boehner, but he bowed out after losing support of hardline conservatives. Dave.
Rachel, in the Senate, so-called Kate's Law was blocked, named for Kate Steinle, the woman shot and killed on a San Francisco pier by an accused illegal immigrant
immigrant.
Democrats blocked a bill aimed at stripping federal funding to so-called sanctuary cities, jurisdictions protecting undocumented immigrants from deportation.
We are witnessing the most overtly nativist, xenophobic campaign in modern U.S. history.
New Jersey Democrat Robert Menendez arguing instead for a comprehensive immigration package.
That's Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern at the Capitol. Marianne Mendoza had a son killed by an illegal immigrant and supported this bill.
This is targeting repeat criminals who are considered dangerous by ICE, and they want to deport these people out of our country.
A New York City police officer shot in the head last night, the fourth NYPD cop murdered in the line of duty in 11 months.
This is the hardest thing that we do when we mourn one of our own.
Police Commissioner William Bratton, Randolph Holder, was shot pursuing a shooting suspect who got shot in the leg and was captured a short time later. There are reports in British media that Libyan authorities will allow the questioning of two suspects in the 1998 bombing of Pan Am Flight 103. There are two suspects in prison in Libya on unrelated charges. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Mostly cloudy, 58 degrees, 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. The Cubs a loss away from the end of their season. The Mets now have a commanding 3-0 series advantage after beating Chicago last night 5-2 at Wrigley in the NLCS. Cubs skipper Joe Maddon says they're not eliminated yet.
I'm really happy that it's not a 5-game series that we're going through right now. I'm really pleased with that. The fact that we still have an opportunity to come back and do this, of course, you think about those things. You think about the parallels. Think about the fact that it happened against a New York team. You think about all that stuff, but it's up to us to go out there and play and perform and execute.
He's referencing, of course, the Red Sox and Yankees from several years ago when the Red Sox came back from a 3-0 series deficit. New York can sweep that best-of-7 tonight with a win on the north side. Trustees at the College of DuPage have voted to fire embattled President Robert Bruder in the wake of internal investigations that, according to the resolution that passed 4-1 late last night, found evidence of misconduct and mismanagement. Former Chicago Alderman Sandy Jackson beginning her one-year prison term. The wife of the ex-Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. surrendered yesterday to a minimum security camp at Alderson, West Virginia. Illinois lawmakers are pushing forward with a partial spending plan. The House Executive Committee approving a bill that would provide nearly $2 billion to fund lottery winners and some 911 services. Meantime, Governor Rauner had a pep talk with House and Senate Republicans gathered in Springfield. With details, here's AM 560's David Stewart.
Some of those lawmakers in the meeting said that Rauner urged them to continue holding out for the reforms that he wants as part of any budget deal. Rauner reportedly told his allies that things are playing out according to plan. House Speaker Michael Madigan told reporters this week's credit downgrade and the cuts to social service providers don't have to continue if Rauner would concentrate just on a budget deal. And he tweaked Rauner over his message.
Was he referring to the collateral damage when he said, stay on course, everything's on plan? Is that what he was saying? That is part of his plan to do the collateral damage?
The House and Senate aren't back in session until November the 10th. David Stewart, Chicago.
And Chicago's Christmas tree will be on the move. City officials say the tree will be relocated to Millennium Park. After spending nearly 50 years in Daley Plaza, the annual lighting ceremony held November 24th. Rookie Steven Matz gets to start for the Mets tonight against the Cubs' Jason Hamill as the Cubs trying to avoid a series sweep in the NLCS. Royals a win away from returning to the World Series after a rout of Toronto 14-2. Aaron Brooks had 22 in the Bulls win over Indiana. The news service of the Illinois Partners for Clean Air. Get on board with saving time and money and improving air quality. Learn to breathe easy and save easy with Illinois Partners for Clean Air at cleantheair.org. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Willie Wilson, candidate for President of the United States. As President, I will make economic empowerment a priority.
Paid for by Willie Wilson 2016.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
I was fed up with the overwhelming liberal bias in public schools, so I decided to homeschool my kids. The problem was finding a curriculum that represented the values I grew up with. Things like faith, family, patriotism, and the truth about our country's history. Then I checked out BJU Press. BJU Press has everything our homeschool needs, and with the right values. Go to bjupresshomeschool.com and see for yourself. You'll feel good about how you homeschool.
6:06. Let's get an update on the roads in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. In for Jim, here's Al.
Thanks, Mike. First, let's look at the Adams. Eastbound Adams is jammed, avoided. It's solid between Route 53 and Bussey Road, where a 5-car accident has 2 left lanes blocked. Both sides of the Edens are wide open. We've got no delays in or out on the Kennedy at this hour. Eisenhower inbound slows from Manheim to Harlem. It's 34 in from Thorndale, 21 in from Manheim. Outbound's fine. Stevenson in, heavy from Harlem to Kedzie, 40 minutes in from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. 55 northbound type between Route 53 and 355. And Dan Ryan slows in from the Merge to 79th, again from 35th into the Circle, 23 minutes in from 95th. Traffic's a service, UPSJobs.com, seeking part-time package handlers throughout Chicagoland, especially Northbrook, Palatine, Franklin Park, and Bedford Park. Package handlers can graduate debt-free with up to $25,000 in education assistance. Apply now at UPSJobs.com/radio. Get there with UPS. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A breezy day today with wind gusting up to 30 miles per hour in the afternoon. Variably cloudy with a passing shower in the afternoon with a high 76. Then a shower left over in a few spots for the evening. Otherwise, clouds will break later tonight with a low of 50. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
58 at O'Hare, 59 along the lake. Next news at 6:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by HealthQuest Radio with Dr. David Kolbaba. HealthQuest Radio is heard Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
The stress is you just got to relax and remember how happy you are that the Cubs are in the playoffs.
I may not be on the road as often as previous speakers, but I pledge to try and make up for it with more time communicating our vision, our message.
President Obama and I have ideologically had no disagreement. None. I mean, zero.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. No disagreements, Joe Biden says. No ideological disagreements with President Obama. You don't have ideological disagreements when you're sharing a brain. So turning to the other side, though, Donald Trump, it seems to me there's 2 concerns about Donald Trump. One, that he cannot beat Hillary Clinton or whoever the Democrat nominee is. The other concern is that he can and what kind of president he would be if and when he is victorious.
Well, I know he can't keep his commitments because last night he was supposed to be on Jimmy Kimmel and just canceled because he said he had a campaign event.
Yeah.
Guess what, Dan? There was no campaign event last night.
I don't care if he goes on with Jimmy Kimmel.
I know, but it's just, if you commit to something, you should follow through with it.
Well, let's go to the first issue, the first question. Trump as the nominee couldn't beat Hillary Clinton. That turns out maybe not to be the case. There's an interesting piece in Reuters, an analysis that their polling arm Ipsos did, where they essentially say it is concluded it's highly likely that a Republican is going to be the next president of the United States. And it's based on a couple of things. They report the most important finding from our model is the power of incumbency. If you already hold the office you seek, you're far more likely than not to retain it. We know this. Our model showed that incumbents have a 3-fold greater chance of beating their opponent. However, when no incumbent is running, successor candidates, same party, are 3 times less likely to win. Our model proves the power of presidential approval ratings. It determines that in order for a successor candidate to have a better than even shot of winning, the sitting president must have an approval rating of above 55%. Obama's approval rating right now is hovering around 45%. And with his kind of governance by executive fiat, I don't see it bumping up much higher than that. So essentially, this is the key data point on which Ipsos rests its model and its conclusion that Hillary Clinton, or whoever the Democrat nominee has a substantially less than 50-50 chance to win the presidency. So Republicans are kind of in the pole position. So that speaks to, could Trump or any other Republican beat Hillary Clinton or whoever their Democrat nominee is? They go into the race as a favorite.
Well,
so that's kind of one issue. The second issue is, what kind of president would Donald Trump make were he actually elected president? That's a bit of a more concerning one, because we sometimes in the nature of this kind of horse race competition and this the home team versus the away team kind of mentality we bring to politics, we forget that elections are the means to policy ends. So you need to be asking yourself, what do we win if we win? That to me is the more important question, particularly on Trump.
We're going to get another experiment in the White House. Somebody who's never held public office, somebody who is so in love with himself, unless this is just a shtick. Maybe he's really just an insecure man deep down inside. But I doubt it. I really doubt it. But I'm not up for another experiment.
No, it's not the experiment, because there's a difference between the Trump experiment and the Barack Obama experiment.
All right, what is it?
Well, one, Trump has had a job before.
Yeah.
So that's an important experiment. He has built things. Trump is much more. He's not more sophisticated rhetorically, but he's more sophisticated as kind of in terms of street sense.
Okay, he has more street smarts.
Yeah, I think so. But the experiment that you point to, that I think there is a parallel, is to have another solipsist in the White House, to replace one with the other who believes that only his own mind exists. That's what Barack Obama believes. It seems to some extent that Trump believes the same. Interesting piece in The Atlantic by Molly Ball, though. She talks about really how, and this is kind of the fun part about Trump, and from my perspective, that he has made a laughing stock of political journalism. Molly Ball writes, Trump, she writes about the entire piece is entitled 1,001 times the media acted shocked that Trump was running a real campaign. They still can't believe he's a candidate. He is a real presidential candidate. She writes, Trump is a candidate, and an uncommonly successful one, and it's silly to keep pretending that his campaign is a mere brand exercise or entertainment. He's hired a lot of staff and opened offices across the country. He's issued position papers. He's organizing potential caucus and primary voters in the early voting states and beyond. Indeed, by succeeding so easily at the campaign game, Trump has made a mockery of political journalism's obsession with campaign strategy. Reporters, myself included, treat campaigns as a delicate and mysterious art, one whose practice reveals the inner core of the candidates themselves. Trump just found a bunch of people he liked and hired them, and it's working out great.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I think, and Molly Ball is, no conservative or even Republican, but I think she's spot on. I think that's exactly right.
I mean, I really thought that he would go away by now. I thought it would be over. I thought it would be over by Labor Day.
Well, so did I, and I thought it would be over because I thought it was just an exercise in advancing the Trump brand. But I think the response that he got initially has, and maybe it was at some point in his own mind, what do I have to lose? Let's do this. But the positive response he got, the way he shot up in the polls almost immediately, I think left him saying, okay, well,
maybe there's something here.
Yeah, let's do this thing full force, and that seems to be what he's done. Although, according to the latest FEC filings, he hasn't poured a lot of money into the campaign yet. Now, he hasn't needed to because of all the free media, but there is still a question if there is a barrage of hit ads on Trump coming from all directions, which there could very well be. I think there will be.
Oh, yeah.
Then
There's
will
things he said
he?
in his past that are going to come back and haunt him.
Well, but maybe they will haunt him. Maybe they won't. Maybe it turns out he's a bit of Teflon. He has been so far, and his numbers really haven't moved that much since he ascended to the head of the pack in July. But the question is, will he spend his own money? Will he liquidate assets as needed to spend his own money to respond in kind? It seems to me that he is, if he's not all in, he's at least seriously in this game. And why wouldn't you do that when you have a real opportunity to be the Republican nominee for president? But, trying to predict what Trump will do, trying to predict what unpredictable people do is a bit of a challenge. Trump he wasn't on Jimmy Kimmel, as you mentioned.
Yeah, he was a no-show.
And he is supposed to be hosting Saturday Night Live, but that's not sitting well with El Gaito.
Yeah, Congressman Gutierrez has a push to get NBC to drop Donald Trump because of what equal airtime. So if Donald Trump hosts Saturday Night Live, then they have to let Ben Carson do a few skits or
no, it's not. It has nothing to do with equal time. But I would
candidates can demand that.
I would like Gutierrez to host Saturday Night Live. That'd be fair. But no, Gutierrez is saying, quote, allowing Trump to host implies NBC is saying every hateful and racist thing Donald Trump has said since the moment he launched his campaign is acceptable and no big deal. Isn't this the same NBC that clipped Trump from The Apprentice once he announced as a candidate?
Yes, they did. And isn't this the same NBC that have guest appearances by Hillary Clinton last week? I mean, come on. And he's hosted it before in the 80s. So why not?
Yeah, exactly. Well, Gutierrez is just, flacking for his issue.
But he plans to address the issue on the House floor today. Hello?
Well, good for him.
Don't you have something better to do with your time?
No, he does not. He absolutely does not. So Trump is going to be on SNL, as far as we know. He skipped Jimmy Kimmel, but he did go on Stuart Varney's show on Fox Business and it was a wide-ranging conversation, covered a number of issues, but the issue and the statements that are making news is Trump's suggestion that were he president, he would revoke passports for those who go to fight for ISIS, for Americans who go to fight for ISIS. But in addition to that, as is happening in England, he's open to the idea of closing certain mosques. That becomes a little bit more troublesome. Listen to this exchange between Varney and Trump.
Just under 1,000 are going over there. And they've got a whole new series of proposals to deal with this, including withdrawal of passports from some of these people who've gone overseas to fight.
Absolutely good.
And closing some mosques. Would you do the same thing in America?
I would do that. Absolutely. I think it's great. I know they have a lot of proposals over there. If you go out, you go fight for ISIS,
can you do it?
You can't come back. Why can't you do it? You can do it here.
Can you close a mosque? I mean, we do have
Well, I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard about the closing of the mosque. It depends. If the mosque is, loaded for bear, I don't know. You're going to have to certainly look at it. But I can tell you one thing. If somebody goes over and they want to fight for ISIS, they wouldn't be coming back. And in this country, that's been proposed for 2 years now. And as usual, our politicians can't get together on it.
But it's not the politicians. It's President Obama primarily, isn't it?
Well, it's everyone. He's a politician. It's everybody. It's everybody.
So, I mean, the mosque thing, great.
It's going to be big. It's going to be huge.
You'd have to look at it. If they're loaded for bear, I don't know what that means.
No, me neither.
But this is where Trump just is kind of shooting from the hip without thinking through issues. It's one thing, as U.S. government has done, to go after foundations, nonprofits that act as a front for terrorist activity, like the Holy Land Foundation here in Bridgeview, that Patrick Fitzgerald prosecuted. It's another thing to talk willy-nilly about shutting down mosques. I don't like that, and I think you need to be very measured with those kind of statements and that kind of issue where you're talking about potentially infringing on people's First Amendment right to worship. So that's getting into, it's one thing to talk about removing citizenship for people who go fight for ISIS. Okay, if you're going to be an enemy combatant to this country, that makes eminent sense. It's another thing to have dubious criteria that could be used to shut down a house of worship. That requires a little bit more explanation and a little bit more thinking and a little bit more texture, and those aren't Trump's strong suits.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Cloudy today, excuse me. Trying to get over that Cubs loss last night. Cloudy today, breezy but very warm. We do have a chance of a passing afternoon shower, a high of 76 degrees. Then tomorrow, a lot cooler with some sunshine and some high clouds, a high of 63. Travel times, here's Al Verde, who's in for Jim Telemonte.
Amy, Dan, avoid eastbound Adams. It is a disaster right now. It is jam solid between Barrington Road and Bussey, where an accident was blocking the two left lanes. Now the right lane is taken out, but 5 vehicles involved there. Eden's traffic still moving well. Kennedy looks good. Outbound a little slowdown between Foster and Sayers, about it. Eisenhower inbound is heavy from Wolf to 17th. 42 minutes from Thorndale into downtown. Outbound 31 to Thorndale. Stevenson in is 40 from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. 55 northbound heavy route 53 to 355. And Dan Ryan in slows from the merge to 79th, again from 35th into the circle. 23 minutes from 95th into downtown. 57 inbound 27-minute trip from 80. Bishop Ford inbound heavy from Sibley to the Ryan. A crash reported left lane at Sibley. 40 minutes 80-94 in. I'm Al Verde in the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Got a great night's sleep last night, even after a tough loss. All thanks to MyPillow from MyPillow. It conforms to your neck and back. It helps if you have chronic neck and back pain, insomnia. If you have problems snoring, you might want to try the MyPillow. And right now is the perfect time to get it. It's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. It's American-made. There's a 10-year warranty on that pillow and a 60-day full money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied. So go to MyPillow.com, type Amy in the promo code for the buy one, get one free offer. Keep one for yourself and give one as a gift. It's so important to get a great night's sleep, and you can do so with a pillow from MyPillow. MyPillow.com, promo code Amy, or call the 800 number, 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
There are 2 kinds of pain. Pain that goes away and the worst kind, chronic pain. If you suffer from chronic pain, life is not complete and it can be miserable. Unfortunately, most people use narcotics that mask the pain. You need to find the source of the chronic pain and get relief.
This is Dr. Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. We're serious players in the management of pain, and our team are national leaders as well as being educators in the treatment of pain. We will work with you to diminish or eliminate your pain and help you get your life back. You know, there's a nationwide narcotics epidemic, and people are too quick to mask over chronic pain instead of looking for the cause and treating or eliminating the pain. Contact us. We will help you.
Go to mypainchicago.com. Call and make an appointment with some of the best pain people in the nation, located here in Chicago. mypainchicago.com. You or someone you know suffers. End the suffering of chronic pain. mypainchicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Founded in 1922, Unico National is the largest Italian-American service and charitable organization in America with over 120 local chapters in 22 states. Its volunteer members support scholarships, cancer research, mental health, Cooley's anemia, and many local causes while celebrating their Italian heritage. Chicagoland Unico chapters invite you to this special free event. Rediscover your Italian heritage. Wednesday, November 4th at Casa Italia in Stone Park. Join your neighbors of Italian heritage for an evening of enjoyment with Italian food tastings, Italian lessons, cultural info, and more. Plus the opportunity to join Unico. This is a free event, but reservations are required. Call 1-800-947-0137 to reserve your spot. 800-947-0137 or visit unico.org. That's UNICO.org. Unico National. Rediscover your Italian heritage. 800-947-0137 or unico.org. That's UNICO.org.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, Mark Kirk. What do you think? Mark Kirk versus Tammy Duckworth. Who are you going to vote for? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636-DA is the turnkey.pro text line.
Are you going to go to the dark side? You're going to vote for Tammy?
No, but I'm not voting for Mark Kirk. And it's not bad enough that he is the lone Republican who wants to fund Planned Parenthood with my money. It is not. That's not bad enough. Yesterday.
No, what did he do now?
Yesterday, Senate Democrats blocked the Stop Sanctuary Cities Act, which would allow the federal government to withhold funds to local governments that do not cooperate with federal immigration officials. The bill failed at 54-45. Of course, in the Senate, it needs 60 votes to advance. 2 Democrats voted with the Republicans. 1 Republican voted with the Democrats. Do you know who that Republican was?
Let me guess. His name begins with an M. Mark Kirk.
That's him. Mark Kirk, the only Republican to vote with the Democrats against the Stop Sanctuary Cities Act, which would allow the federal government, just to repeat, to withhold funds to cities that say we're not going to enforce or assist in the enforcement of federal immigration law. It's interesting because Anthony Kennedy, for Mark Kirk, who believes that all that matters is who you love and who loves you back. Anthony Kennedy believes that too. Anthony Kennedy wrote in an opinion on the case, the national government has significant power to regulate immigration. This is the Arizona case. Mm-hmm. Arizona may have understandable frustrations with the problems caused by illegal immigration while that process continues, but the state may not pursue policies that undermine federal law. Anthony Kennedy writing for the majority, where Arizona wanted to go further than the federal government was going.
Our good friend Joe Arpaio wanted to go further, and what happened to him? And now he is under investigation.
But cities that don't want to go as far as federal law provides, that's okay. Not only is okay, they should be provided funding without any strings in terms of compliance with federal immigration law. You can start to see why immigration has become such a big issue, particularly in the Republican primary among the candidates, which has buoyed the political fortunes of Donald Trump. And Mark Kirk, voting with the Democrats yet again. Seriously. And by the way, remember...
when's it going to stop?
It's going to stop in November of 2016 because Mark Kirk's going to lose that race. And frankly, the Republican establishment in this state knows that. Unfortunately, they're too afraid, too risk-averse to say to Mark Kirk, here's what's going to happen. You can stay in the race and you can run the race, but we're going to find a candidate. We're going to fund that candidate. We're going to primary you. We're going to coalesce behind a candidate and primary you because you have no chance to win this race. You have already destroyed your relationship with the base of the party. So in terms of the turnout game, you're going to lose that. And in addition to some of the other concerns about Mark Kirk that are beyond his control. But what is not beyond his control is his voting record. And that is an anathema to the base of the Republican Party and, frankly, to a lot of independents who look at the Katie Steinle murder, who look at the sanctuary city, the sanctuary cities like Chicago and say, this is insane.
It's not working.
It's insane.
Well, it's not keeping us safe. And Mark Kirk, obviously yesterday's vote was completely political.
Pandering to Louis Gutierrez doesn't make us safer.
No, it doesn't.
Brittany on the north side.
Good morning. I wanted to comment on what you were talking about, Donald Trump. So I don't know who I'm voting for president, but and I'm saying this as someone who right now is not such a Donald Trump fan. Like, I don't like how he makes fun of people. I feel like that's kind of abusive. And I just want to say, though, with the comment what he said about closing down a mosque, though, I have to say that I don't think that is so bad what he said, because I feel like maybe he was talking about people that are doing things that are not okay, like people that are fighting for ISIS in a mosque that are, covering things up. I'm okay with it, and I'm sure every person would be okay, because we don't want any kind of danger in our country. And as someone who's a religious person, I definitely am for religious freedom. So I just wanted to let you know, I think that we should give him more time to explain himself on that issue.
Thanks, Brittany. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. He had 10 minutes to explain himself on the issue with Stuart Varney. He has the media at his beck and call every day. And this is the problem with Trump. If you're going to take positions on these matters, think them through. If you don't have a position at the time, say it's something I'll have to look at, and then think it through and come back with an intelligent position. That's not what Trump does. That's the problem.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
If you want to own a brownstone, you gotta call Townstone. And that goes for a condo, a little white house, or a mansion too. Hi, I'm Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial, the premier home lender in Chicagoland since 2002. I want you to know that I started Townstone 13 years ago because I was buying properties and felt the banks were incompetent and treated me like I didn't exist. I only wanted a few simple things, like someone to call me back, a knowledgeable person to answer my home refinance and purchase questions, and most importantly, someone who is going to make the entire process easy so my loan closed quickly. And I know this is what you want too, and Townstone has it down to a science. Give me a call at 312-896-2111. I can and will make getting a home loan pain-free. Lastly, we beat the big banks every day on closing costs and interest rates. I guarantee it, and I'm the owner of Townstone, so you won't be disappointed. Call me now at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financial is an Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois mortgage licensee, 6629 and NMLS 136639.
Okay, easy over there. Fall is here, and now that the kids are back at school, it's the perfect time to schedule your appointment with Executive Green Carpet Cleaning. You've heard me rave about Executive Green and their special cleaning process, which includes a safe, non-toxic solution that won't leave any sticky, chalky residue. They use their own purified water, not the water from your faucet. But here's another reason to call Executive Green. It's their no-risk guarantee. That's right. Executive Green promises that you won't need to pay if you're not 100% satisfied. Even after 2 months of high traffic volumes with my boys and my precious cats, my carpet still looks brand new, newly clean. So if you want your carpet to look new again like mine, let Executive Green make you and your family 100% satisfied. Call for an appointment, 708-599-5151. That's 708-599-5151. They're locally owned, family business, have been around since the 80s. Call them right now, 708-599-5151, or schedule online at executivegreencarpetcleaning.com. That's executivegreencarpetcleaning.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Bob Ruder, he gone. We'll talk to Kathy Hamilton, chairwoman of the Board of Trustees at COD at 6:36.
And what to do when someone you go to church with has a crush on your radio partner. We'll explain. But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say hello again to Mike Scott.
I don't know. I've been married for almost 30 years. We'll have to have a discussion about that, Amy. 58 outside right now. NYPD in mourning today. You've heard Fox report this morning. An officer fatally shot in New York City pursuing a bicycle thief. 33-year-old Randolph Holder was responding to a report of a bicycle stolen at gunpoint. Police Commissioner Bill Bratton.
There was an exchange of gunfire between the male suspect and the two officers. During this exchange, Officer Holder was struck in the head.
Police say the shooter is in custody this morning. We're following a developing story in Great Britain where a military fighter jet from the United States is down. Britain's Ministry of Defense says the F-18 crashed near a Royal Air Base in Suffolk earlier today. No word on the condition of the pilot, who is believed to have ejected. Congressman Paul Ryan says he will run for Speaker of the House.
First, we need to move from an opposition party to being a proposition party. Because we think the nation is on the wrong path, we have a duty to show the right one. Our next speaker has to be a visionary one.
After a closed-door meeting with House Republicans, Ryan told reporters he'll consider replacing the outgoing Speaker, John Boehner, if his colleagues agree to his conditions. Cubs are a loss away from the end of their season. Mets have a commanding 3-0 series advantage in the NLCS after beating Chicago last night 5-2 at Wrigley. A number of people are without a home after a huge fire overnight destroyed an apartment block in Oak Park. The blaze broke out late last night in the 200 block of Washington Boulevard. All 22 units inside the property were left unlivable. No one hurt except a firefighter who suffered minor injuries. And Iowa coach Kirk Ferentz this morning is saying there's a reason why he banned his players from using Twitter once he realized the potential pratfalls of social media and Big Ten football. And now some of his Big Ten colleagues may start thinking Ferentz is onto something and doing something about it. The downside to social media again became apparent over the weekend as Michigan Athletic Director Jim Hackett had to release an open letter urging fans to avoid thoughtless comments on Twitter following Michigan State's stunning 27-23 win over the Wolverines. Much of the negative chatter focusing on Michigan punter Blake O'Neal, whose fumble led to the game-winning touchdown. Chicago sports, Mets winners over the Cubs. So today it's rookie Steven Matz getting the start for the Mets. Jason Hamill will get the ball for the Cubs. Royals a win away from the World Series after routing Toronto 14-2. The news service of Flu Block. Bet you didn't know that you had a choice in flu vaccines. This season, choose Flu Block, the only flu vaccine that is free of things like formaldehyde. Now available at Target and your local retailers like Roundy's and Mariano's. For more information, go to askforflublock.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
She's bold.
You're not black, so drop the racism crap.
She's controversial.
When you bring the people here, you bring those cultures here.
She's unapologetic.
This is a total fraud and a fig leaf.
And she's coming to Freedom Summit Chicago 2015. She's Ann Coulter.
Now I'm talking.
See best-selling author and conservative firebrand Ann Coulter live on Saturday, November 14th at Freedom Summit Chicago in Itasca. Get your tickets now at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Willie Wilson, candidate for President of the United States. As President, education will be at the top of my priorities.
Paid for by Willie Wilson 2016.
I'm Lex, CEO of Balance of Nature. At Balance of Nature, we believe in real communication. Whether you call into the office or hear a success story on the radio, you can be sure it's real, unsolicited, and unscripted conversation.
I had anemia. And that's when I got on to Balance of Nature. Then when I came off it, I got anemia again. That's one of the reasons I got back on it. I said, you know what, let me call them up and let me start doing the right thing. I made a mistake by getting off it. I think this is a good product, and I'm going to just stick with it.
When you can give your body a full variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in their 100% natural, whole food form, you receive the unmatched balance of nutrition. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
In our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center this morning, in for Jim, here's Al.
Thanks, Mike. Let's start with the eastbound Adams. It is jammed up from Roselle to Bussey now. An earlier accident that was blocking the right lane has now been cleared, but still a huge backup there. Eden's inbound 27, Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction, 21 back out. Kennedy inbound 25 to downtown, 27 out to O'Hare. Eisenhower into the post office, 53, 41 back out to Thorndale. Stevenson 46 into Lakeshore Drive, and 37 back out to 355. 55 northbound heavy route, 53 to 355. Dan Ryan into downtown, a 26-minute ride, no outbound delays. 57 in from 127th to the Ryan is backed up. Traffic's a service of Target Red Card. At Target, your debit and credit Red Card is like the gift that keeps on giving, as in 5% off your holiday wish list on every shopping trip. So let the stocking stuffing begin. Brought to you by Target Red Card. Some restrictions apply. See program rules in-store or at Target.com for details. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Variable clouds, breezy and warm, with an afternoon shower possible and a high of 76. 58 right now. Next news at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k rollover specialist. Heard Saturday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy. So, Amy, we followed the story from its inception, the story of College of DuPage about its now gone college president, Bob Bruder, and this unbelievable compensation package that he was enjoying as college president, this golden parachute he was going to enjoy as not being the college president anymore, the naming of a Homeland Security building on campus for him, why the College of DuPage board was paying for a hunting club, why they had a Michelin-rated restaurant on campus, all of this empire building that was going on at this community college that finally got taxpayers' attention in DuPage County. And one of the leaders of this charge to refashion the board and chart a different financial course for the college is Trustee Kathy Hamilton, who is now chairman of the Board of Trustees at the College of DuPage, and she joins us now. Kathy, thanks so much for joining us.
It's a great pleasure to be here. I'm very excited to tell this story once more because it's a story of a promise made and a promise kept by elected officials, but it's also a story of how elected officials listen to the people that said no to a series of scams to personally enrich themselves instead of enriching the students and the people that live in our community.
Well, let's walk it back here for just a minute, provide some additional context. So Robert Bruder, as I just describe what he was going to get and the action that the College of DuPage board took last night.
Dr. Bruder was supposed to get $763,000 as a departing golden handshake package. He was also supposed to get the Homeland Security building named after him, despite the fact that he never served in the military. He had a series of compensation issues that he was going to receive. But I think the most important thing here is that we have said no to that. We have said no to the enrichment of an individual that, quite frankly, didn't have that mandate from the people.
So what did the board do last night?
Last night, the board voted definitively on the basis of his failure to adhere to legal objectives, directives, breach of his duties, and his conduct, that he would no longer receive those items detailed in his golden handshake contract.
So the board voted 4-1 to immediately terminate him. Who was the one holdout?
The one holdout was Trustee Diane McGuire, and she is She represents the voice of the prior board.
Now, this compensation package that Bruder was originally scheduled to receive, in addition to some of his conduct while he was the incumbent college president, was so outrageous to so many that you actually had the General Assembly pass legislation signed by Governor Rauner to prevent community college boards from offering these kind of compensation packages that you're describing. How much did that impact the board action?
I think it encouraged the other board members that were new to the board. I was the one that worked with Representative Ives to get that legislation signed. But I believe, for the new members, we really were very, very focused on the internal politics of getting our work done. So, it was something that happened on the side, but, getting done what we had to get done involved a lot of work. We had investigations going on for 6 months. We had a legal team that looked at various different angles. For example, we actually rendered his contract void ab initio, which means it was void from the start. Not only did it contain this lavish sort of year and a half worth of payout, but it also reflected what we call the evergreen clauses, which means that the contract was rolled over really without the public knowledge. So we couldn't really adhere to that contract. We had to get it voided because really it represented a disrespect to our taxpayers. We know that contracts like that are done in closed doors, so that time and time again we see throughout the state of Illinois, these contracts are rolled over without the public knowledge. They don't know how long the contracts last, and it's quite an affront to the people on the board, but also the people, our board, but also on the board of other schools. And so, hopefully, we're going to get that particular piece of legislation passed in the future.
So Robert Bruder has been president there since January 2009. That $763,000 severance package he's not going to be getting. What will he be able, what kind of severance package are you working on then with him, if anything?
He's not getting anything right now.
Not a dime.
And
not a dime.
And the fact
not
that, and the other thing I just want to point out too, I mean, the fact that he may litigate this, that would cower some boards. Say, well, we don't want to incur the legal expenses, but this board has said, he is entitled to pursue whatever legal action he wants, and if we have to spend money to defend our action, then we're going to do that. That to me is money well spent, taxpayer money well spent, defending a shakedown by a potential shakedown by an outgoing board president. So, I applaud the board for not kind of playing this game of, well, we don't want to incur legal expenses. That's why we're going to facilitate this golden handshake.
Right, Dan. And I think the important thing to remember here is that the College of DuPage is a learning institution. If we cow to that kind of pressure, then we aren't teaching the students at the college anything. We're not teaching them to stand up to the kinds of personal enrichment schemes that we've seen Dr. Bruder involved in.
Now,
we aren't standing up against fraud, waste, and abuse.
Now, let me ask you another question. So Bob Bruder was hired by COD a few days after he left Harper, and frankly, I question the due diligence that was done by the COD board, because the empire building that he did at COD, he did at Harper, and so it's not very far away. It's pretty easy to discern what he was doing, what kind of guy he was. And so he should have never been hired in the first place, in my judgment. But the question is, what is the go-forward process in terms of identifying and selecting a new college president so that you don't have a Bruder repeat?
Right. First of all, I agree with you about the due diligence process. Second of all, we have put together a team of 18 individuals that form the Presidential Search Committee. And those individuals are prominent in our community and will represent all of the stakeholders. They will have a say in who we select. I've already spoken to those individuals, and we will start shortly selecting a search firm. We are going to get resumes. Those resumes are going to be pre-sorted by the search firm. But most importantly, this search firm is going to identify the qualities in a president that we believe are important to provide education in District 502.
And Kathy, before we let you jump, just quickly, the Homeland Security Building was going to be named for Bruder, not going to be named for Bruder anymore. Is it true what I've heard, that it's going to be named for Robbie Miller, a Medal of Honor recipient from Wheaton?
Absolutely.
Great. That's appropriate, and another accomplishment. Kathy Hamilton, Board of Trustees Chairman at the College of DuPage. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
And she joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper, hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Today, cloudy, breezy, very warm, unseasonably warm for this time of year. A high of 76 degrees, and we have a passing afternoon shower. Tonight for the do-or-die Cubs game, it's going to be 66 degrees, no rain in the forecast. And tomorrow, cooler with sunshine and patchy clouds, a high of 63. Travel times, here's Al Verde in for Jim Telemonte.
Thank you. The Adams eastbound is still jammed up between Barrington and Bussey Road from an earlier accident that involved 5 vehicles. Avoid that if you can. Eden's inbound is 27 minutes. Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction, only 21 back out. On the Kennedy, an inbound trip is 31 and 43 back out to O'Hare. Eisenhower into the post office, 57 minutes, 40 out to Thorndale. Stevenson into Lakeshore Drive, 51 minutes and 42 back out to 355. 55 northbound jams up Weber to Lamont Road. Dan Ryan inbound slows from the merge to 79th, again from 35th into the circle. It's a half an hour from 95th into downtown. No outbound delays. 57 inbound tight from 127th to the Rhine and is 27 minutes in from 80. Bishop Ford inbound from Sibley to before Dalton, slow with an accident right shoulder, then heavy again from 115th into the Rhine. Lakeshore Drive northbound from the Stevenson to Jackson is backed up. I'm Al Verdi in the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Now it's time for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report, brought to you by the Mutual Fund Store.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Quarterly earnings in focus on Wall Street. Google and Yahoo sign a search advertising deal, and bond yields moving higher near a 2-week high. Those stories next.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave ventilation unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave ventilation requires no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave ventilation unit. For more information, visit mydryhouse.com. That's mydryhouse.com, or call 888-798-WAVE. That's 888-798-WAVE.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
No major economic reports due out today, so corporate developments in focus on Wall Street. Investors combing through the earnings reports of Biogen, Boeing, Chipotle, Coca-Cola, General Motors, and Yahoo. Chipotle and Yahoo moving lower in extended trading after both companies posted weaker than expected earnings. Yahoo also announcing a search advertising deal with Google. We'll see whether IBM stock bounces back from yesterday's more than 5.5% sell-off. Investors in the crude oil market awaiting the Energy Department's weekly report on crude oil inventories. December crude oil trading under $47 a barrel. And we're watching the bond market after the 10-year Treasury yield rose to a nearly 2-week high yesterday. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
My brother Chris is allergic to talking about retirement. Bring up his future and you'll get glazed eyes and awkward answers. Don't believe me? Let's try it. Chris, when will you retire?
Ha! You darn right I like nachos.
See what I mean? Chris, do you have a retirement account?
It's gotta be the right kind of cheese.
One last time. Are you ever going to retire?
And don't forget jalapenos. I love jalapenos.
Good for you, buddy.
Avoiding the retirement conversation? At the Mutual Fund Store, we get it, and our advisors are here to help. Whether you're storing 401k statements in a shoebox, can't tell a traditional from a Roth IRA, or include piggy bank as one of your retirement accounts, there are no judgments here. We'll simply sit down with you one-on-one, talk about where you're at, and help you put a plan in place to get you where you want to be tomorrow. Let's get the conversation started today with a free consultation.
Hi, I'm Steve Check with the Mutual Fund Store in Chicagoland. Call me at 888-498-3636 or visit mutualfundstore.com and let's talk about your financial goals today.
This is Sam Gilberto, president of American Embroidery and Screen Printing and American Marketing Products. We specialize in putting your logo on just about anything. Our focus is entirely on you, our customer. We want every customer experience to be outstanding. American Embroidery and Screen Printing is a brick-and-mortar business located in Glendale Heights. Our equipment and manufacturing processes are state-of-the-art, so are the people who work here. With over 40 years' experience, we have the capability, capacity, and know-how to get your job done right and on time. I want to earn your business, so for a limited time, we're offering free artwork on embroidery and screen printing orders for all new customers. Let us help you gear up for that big trade show, provide shirts or jackets for all your employees, students, or church members, or simply provide you with giveaway items such as coffee mugs, pens, or hats. Whatever it is, you can trust an American to take care of it. It's easy to contact us, trustinamerican.com. That's trustinamerican.com, or call at 630-766-2825.
AM 560, The Answer.
It is less than a month away. We're talking about Freedom Summit 2015. It's coming up on Saturday, November 14th at the Westin in Itasca. Now, this event keeps getting bigger, Dan. Sean Hannity will be there as our keynote speaker for lunch.
Yeah, he's coming to see you.
Yeah, and Joe Walsh. She has a bone to pick with Joe Walsh. Cage match. Also, Hugh Hewitt will be there along with Ann Coulter. They both will be signing copies of their latest books and will speak at dinner that evening. In addition, Guy Benson, Katie Pavlich from townhall.com have been added to the lineup. And they will also be speaking and signing copies of their books. And there will be 3 different tracks of breakout seminar sessions. Now, which one are you going to go to? One will be presented by Americans for Prosperity, one by the Ayn Rand Institute, and the other by the Illinois Policy Institute. Which one will Dan Proft be a part of?
Is that in Rosemont?
No. This is it.
It's in
Weston
Itasca.
and Itasca.
It's in Itasca,
Yeah. So make sure you get your tickets today before they sell out, because this event will sell out. It does every year. Seating is limited. So go to freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. 2 tiers of tickets. $99 gets you a premium seating and all 3 meals. $29 gets you into the summit, but does not include meals. So then you have to watch other people eat.
Or you can just come with me. We'll go have lunch at Medina.
So get your tickets today. freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com.
God, I love our country, and I love what we stand for.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
When you send your 16-year-old off in that car, you shouldn't be thinking about saving on car insurance premiums. You should be wondering if you have the most coverage you can afford. Heil Insurance is here to assist you with critical auto insurance questions like this. These are the questions you should be asking. Call Heil Insurance today at 847-866-7400 or visit them online at heilandheil.com. At Heil Insurance, they ask the difficult questions before you put your child behind the wheel. You can put a price on coverage, but not on peace of mind. Call Heil Insurance today at 847-866-7400 for a free consultation or visit their website at heilandheil.com. Let them help you drive with confidence. That's 847-866-7400. Quality of lifestyle can be preserved by managing risk. Let Heil help you manage yours. Call today, 847-866-7400.
So often on this show, we talk about the important issues that affect your world, like the economy, education, healthcare, foreign policy. And on this show, because there's always so much going on, we don't always have time to drill down and talk about the big ideas behind the big issues. It's one of the reasons I'm involved with a new website along with the Illinois Opportunity Project called Upstream Ideas, online at upstream-ideas.com. At Upstream Ideas, you'll find info that will enlighten the discussions we're having here on this show and elsewhere. At Upstream Ideas, we broaden the parameters of debate and move beyond the same old partisan assumptions. In other words, we're pushing against the current and thinking upstream. So go online now to upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. With each visit to Upstream Ideas, you'll be armed with info and perspectives to spur you to make the state of Illinois and the good old USA a bit more free, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized.
You didn't build that. You don't pay your fair share. Who do you think you are? Ayn Rand knew exactly who you are. Rational, productive, independent. You work hard and use your own judgment. You choose your career path, your lifestyle, your values. You're living the American dream. And now you see that there are people who want to take away what you've created and who will call their lust to loot a virtue. People who think the needs of others is a claim on your money, your work, your life. Well, how can you fight back? That's what they do at the Ayn Rand Institute. They look closely at public policy beyond sound bites and election cycles, at the fundamental moral ideas that frame crucial debates. They focus on reframing the issues in line with reason, egoism, and individual rights to life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness. Your life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of your happiness. Stand up with them to fight against the sacrifice of your values by making a contribution today at aynrand.org/support. They'll use your money to defend your values.
A judge has an unusual sentence for poor people. We'll explain.
And at 7:17, Chucky, John Gruden, made an inopportune comment on Monday Night Football. Is he a racist? Should he be fired? We'll discuss.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say hello again to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're following right now. Mets beat the Cubs to take a 3-0 series advantage in the National League Championship Series. College of DuPage has fired their president. City officials continue to discuss the mayor's proposed budget. Uber is lobbying for access to Chicago's airports and using the airwaves to do that. Sandy Jackson begins her prison term. Chicago's Christmas tree moving to Millennium Park, and a stunning injury for the Blackhawks, Duncan Keith out with a knee injury. Variable cloudy, breezy, and warm with a passing afternoon shower in your forecast. Will top out at 76 degrees. A complete look at your weather forecast after Fox News on AM 560 and WIND Chicago News Time. It's 7 o'clock.
Fox
News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. A U.S. fighter jet has crashed in Britain. Fox News Radio's Simon Owens live in London.
Dave, police here saying one person died when the F-18 came down near a British airbase in Suffolk, a couple of hours north of London. There's no confirmation from the US Air Force, which says it's investigating. Reports here say the jet had made a refueling stop in England and was heading back to the US, but it crashed shortly after takeoff with one person on board. Dave.
Simon, Iran's supreme leader has signed off on the nuclear deal with the West that eases sanctions on his country, though the Ayatollah warns the U.S. cannot be trusted. Republicans in Congress tried to, but failed to block the deal, worried it won't stop Iran from building weapons. For the fourth time in 11 months, a New York City police officer has been murdered in the line of duty. Police union leader Pat Lynch says cops
carry themselves like superheroes on the streets. But the reality is, when we're attacked, we bleed. When we bleed, we die. And when we die, we cry.
Randolph Holder was last night's victim, shot in the head as he pursued a shooting suspect who was also shot and then captured. He's not dying to be House Speaker, but Paul Ryan's willing.
I consider to do this with reluctance.
So the Republican congressman has strings attached. Fox News Radio's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Representative Ryan, who chairs a powerful Ways and Means Committee, says he'll only run for House Speaker if he has the support of all factions of the Republican caucus. He says the party has become the problem and is letting down the people they serve.
If my colleagues entrust me to be the Speaker, I want us to become the solution.
Ryan has young children and says he will not sacrifice family time for the job. He's waiting until Friday to make a decision to see if the party unites behind him. Dave.
Rachel, happy Back to the Future Day.
Hi, Doc. What's going on, huh? Where are we? When are we?
Well, today's the day Marty and Doc travel in time to in the movie's sequel. Though we don't have the cool hoverboards, flying cars, or self-tying shoelaces they envisioned we would. Bummer. There's screenings in 1,700 theaters nationwide. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
58 degrees. Winds out of the south at 8 at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. A number of people are without a home after a fire tore through an apartment block in Oak Park overnight. Officials this morning tell us that blaze broke out in the 200 block of Washington Boulevard in the evening. All 22 units inside the property are unlivable. No one hurt, except a firefighter who suffered minor injuries. Cubs are one loss away from the end of their season. The Mets take a commanding 3-0 series advantage in the NLCS after beating Chicago last night 5-2 at Wrigley. Skipper Joe Madden.
I'm really happy that it's not a 5-game series that we're going through right now. I'm really pleased with that. The fact that we still have an opportunity to come back and do this, of course, you think about those things. You think about the parallels. Think about the fact that it happened against a New York team. You think about all that stuff, but it's up to us to go out there and play and perform and execute.
And New York can sweep that best-of-7 set with a win tonight on the north side. Trustees at the College of DuPage have voted to fire their embattled president, voting 4-1 yesterday to remove Robert Bruder in the wake of an internal investigation that, according to the resolution, found evidence of misconduct and mismanagement. Former Chicago Alderman Sandy Jackson beginning her one-year prison term. A major ride-sharing company is making a push for access to Chicago airports by using television and radio ads, lobbying the city to allow pickups at O'Hare and Midway. It's part of a budget proposal that aldermen will examine next week. Illinois' troubled Child Welfare Agency must outline a detailed plan to make improvements at residential treatment centers and in other areas by February 2016 under a federal court agreement. Judge Jorge Alonso entered that agreed order yesterday, part of a years-old consent decree. Rookie Steven Matz will get the ball for the Mets tonight on the north side, while Jason Hamill will go for the Cubs in a series-saving start. Royals, one win from returning to the World Series. They rout Toronto 14-2. Bulls beat Indiana last night in the preseason, while defenseman Duncan Keith will be sidelined with right knee surgery. The news a service of Flublok. Bet you didn't know you had a choice in flu vaccines. This season, choose Flublok, the only flu vaccine free of things like formaldehyde, now available at Target and your local retailers like Roundy's and Mariano's pharmacies. Talk to your healthcare professional or ask for Flublok.com. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The FICO score is not really even a good indication that you pay your debts back.
Dave Ramsey.
What it's an indication of is, do you love debt? And are you planning on staying in debt continually, forever? If you're running around trying to build your FICO score and you call that winning with money, you're stupid. Was I unclear? I hope not, because you're not winning with money. That's the point.
It's the Dave Ramsey Show, tonight at 7 on AM 560. The Answer.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with one claim compared to Asurion total equipment coverage as of August 10, 2015.
Getting a new iPhone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So protecting all the phones in your family is a smart idea. But if you have insurance through your wireless carrier, you're paying way too much. I'm Steve Abernethy, and I founded SquareTrade to give you a better choice. Phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $11 a month. For a family of 4, that's $44 every month. Plus, up to $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade family protection plans cost less than $4 a month per phone with a much lower deductible. We can save your family over $500. Whether you've got a new iPhone or any other smartphone, stop overpaying for phone insurance and protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade instead.
Protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade and save over $500. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
7:06 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. In for Jim, here's Al.
Thanks, Mike. Right now on the Edens, a little backup between Dempster and Montrose. 32 minutes in from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction, 24 back out. Kennedy into downtown is heavy, 41 minutes, and 50 back out to the airport. Eisenhower, an hour or 2 from Thorndale into the post office, 45 back out to Thorndale. Stevenson is 52 into Lakeshore Drive, 42 on the return trip. 55 northbound jams up between Weber and Lamont Roads. Jan Ryan into downtown, 29 minutes, no outbound delays. 57 inbound is tight from 127th to the Ryan, and a 27-minute trip in. Then Bishop Ford inbound slows Sibley to Dalton with an accident, right shoulder, heavy again from 115th into the Ryan. It's also 27 minutes in from 8094. Lakeshore Drive northbound slow from Stevenson to Jackson, 20 minutes from 67th up to Jackson. Tri-State northbound hits the brakes between Ridgeland and the 82nd Street Toll Plaza, heavy again from the Stevenson to 31st. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. And your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today breezy and very warm with variable cloudiness and a passing shower in the afternoon, high of 76. A shower in spots for the evening, otherwise clouds will break later tonight with a low of 50. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
58 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by M.J. Miller & Company Jewelers. Make a statement this season with a sparkling brooch from M.J. Miller at 123 West Main Street in downtown Barrington.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
The stress is you just got to relax and remember how happy you are that the Cubs are in the playoffs.
I may not be on the road as often as previous speakers, but I pledge to try and make up for it with more time communicating our vision, our message.
President Obama and I have ideologically had no disagreement. None. I mean, zero.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Amy, the story out of Alabama.
Alabama.
Nice Keith Jackson.
Thank you.
One Alabama judge apparently has watched too many of those telejudges, like Judy and Joe Brown. He's just going to kind of make up creative sentencing, I suppose. The choice that he offered, this is Judge Marvin Wiggins, no relation to Chief Wiggum. That's what it reminded me of. He said for a payments due hearing, said at a payments due hearing, for your consideration, ladies and gentlemen, there's a blood drive outside. If you don't have any money, go out there and give blood and bring in a receipt indicating you gave blood. And Wiggins said if you give blood, that would be a $100 credit toward the fine that you owe. And if not, then the sheriff has enough handcuffs. What's wrong with that?
Wow. Forced blood donations. 312-642-5600. What do you think of that? I mean, I I read this story at first and I thought it was a joke, but clearly it's not a joke. The judge, he said you have to either give blood or give money. Take a listen.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. There's a consideration that the blood drive outside. If you're not having the money and not want to go to jail as an option to pay it, you can give blood today.
So you can give blood today.
Was that the judge or was that Pappy O'Daniel from Oh Brother Where Art Thou?
Stop it. That was a judge. The audio is not so good down south there in Alabama.
Yeah.
But what he said is, if you don't have money to give today, because it was a payment due hearing, so all these people who owed money to the government for fines were all gathered in one room, and he thought, this is a great time because either give money or give blood. So if they gave blood outside, they were promised a $100 credit toward their fines, but according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, that didn't actually happen.
I'm not sure I believe the Southern Poverty Law Center, so I'm not going to stipulate as to whether or not that happened. But I don't see necessarily this as an equal protection violation, which is what one NYU law professor suggested it was, that it's harsh or discriminatory. It was not a requirement to give blood. It was an option. So it was essentially, if you don't have money, here's a way to, at least in part, pay what you owe in this case, the county.
Yeah, but many indigent defendants gave blood out of fear of going to jail. I mean, when you have a judge saying, if you don't have the money, go outside, and if not, I have handcuffs here, to me that implies that if I don't pay up from my pocket or from my full vein here on my arm, that I'm going to go to jail.
Well, that would be a problem. But if there was a payment, you've been to traffic court, right? I mean, I know you don't get tickets at the rate I do, but
I've been to traffic court.
Yeah, and so if you see, not somebody that's an elite like yourself, but you see other people that when they don't have the money to pay whatever fine is imposed, they're put on a payment plan. The clerk, and we'll put you on a payment plan. Now, the story doesn't indicate whether these people have violated the payment plan if they weren't able to come up with the money when the fine was initially meted out. But I suppose. I mean, if you're saying if you don't have the money you have to give blood, that's different than encouraging you to give blood as a way to pay down your fine. I would agree that that's different.
But it just seems like disregard for poor people. Shockingly disregard for poor people that we're going to force them to give us blood. I mean, one man.
We don't know that.
Well, it sounded like that to me. I mean, one man passed out after giving blood. Another was so angry that he had to be removed from the courtroom. One man said that he was led to believe that even if he paid as much as he could, he still needed to give blood to avoid jail time. These are the defendants that were in the courtroom.
Yeah, well, maybe there was some miscommunication there. But again, if the protocol is this is an option to get $100 toward your fine that you owe, you can choose to do it or not choose to do it. If you can't do it and you're not already in violation of some kind of payment plan you're on, then of course we're not going to throw you in jail. I don't know if that was the case, but if that was the case, is that a problem?
I don't know. 312-642-5600.
What's the problem with that?
I just think forcing Americans to give blood at any level is wrong. Isn't it against the Constitution or Alabama's state constitution?
Well, again, what if it was not force? It was an option. And
it's a creative way of doing business in a courtroom.
And what if you are not? What if some of these individuals had a payment plan and they were in violation of the payment plan? They hadn't complied with the payment plan.
I know.
Oh, so debtor's prison. Oh, look at you. No blood, but a debtor's prison. Oh, how quickly we go to the draconian. Bob and Waukegan, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, this brought back memories of 43 years ago when I joined the Marine Corps at the age of 18. And so we get to boot camp, and they take all our stuff away, and the next day we're standing on the footprints in our squad bay, 85 of us. And the drill instructors go around the room and ask why people joined the Marine Corps. Over half my platoon said, the judge said, 4 years in the Marine Corps or 3 years in jail. And I was like, what the hell have I done?
Yeah, right. Razzle dazzle, Bob. Thanks for the call.
Well, and the bigger question here, too, I mean, should he be removed from the bench? The Southern Poverty Law Center has filed an ethics complaint against him, but some are suggesting that he be removed. 312-642-5600. I don't know if I'd go that far, but There is a complaint that's been filed.
Put him on opposite Judge Judy. Sounds like a creative sort. Kathy in Orland Park.
Hi, Dan, and Amy. I made the switch, and I voted for you.
Oh, thank you. Hey, you voted for Amy, or you voted for me?
Or the show.
I would have voted for Amy, but I did vote for you.
Thank you very
but
much.
I wanted to tell you. You got two, actually. I wanted to tell you that my kids, when they were strapped for cash in college, they sold their plasma.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So, really, they needed money, and that was a way that they could get it, and it was a resource that they had available to them, and they sold their plasma.
Yeah, we called plasma beer money at Iowa. A lot of people would do that.
Yeah.
My sorority sisters would sell their plasma. You'd get a...
What about brain donations? How are those?
Hey, you stop it. Hair locks, yes, thank you. Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, but that's the thing. They're saying, that's what the Southern Poverty Law Center is saying, that these people didn't get paid the $100.
Well, that's a problem. Or if you're forced to do it under the threat of imprisonment, that could be a problem as well. Or
if the $100 wasn't taken off their total for their fines. I don't know. This is a creepy story. It's almost barbaric. Go give blood now in the hallway. And some people have a phobia.
Well, it is when you use that tone of voice.
But some people have a phobia for needles. And again, one elderly man passed out.
Well, you did, but the
what
question...
if he fell down and go boom?
But the question is, did you have to? So if you didn't have to, people make a choice. It's the Bob example. You can choose the window and go to prison, or you can choose the stairs and go into the Marine Corps. John in Maple Park.
Yeah, Andy, you just say all these people, but the bottom line is they're criminals. They still have a fine to pay. They still broke the law. So, as far as I'm concerned, the judge is giving a way out. He's helping them by giving them another option. You can pay the fine, you can go to jail, you can give blood. He's giving them plenty of options, and you're bashing the judge. That's just not right.
Thanks for the call, John. I would criminals maybe we're talking about fines, and it seems like relatively minor fines. So I would prefer somebody who's been fined many times by many units of government. I prefer to call them scofflaws, not criminals.
Really?
It sounds a little...
sounds nicer?
Yeah. Dangerous. Speeding tickets or many speeding tickets. Bill on the north side.
Yeah, everybody's been saying the same thing I was going to say. These are thieves and criminals. If I was the judge, I'd have a dental chair in the courtroom and open their mouth. If they got any gold teeth, I'd kick them out to pay their bills.
Okay, Bill. Thanks for the call, Bill. Yeah, I think that would run afoul of the Constitution.
Yeah, that would,
But, Bill is clearly in the collection business for the Grand Avenue crew, so we appreciate hearing from them. Candace in DuPage.
If they had this law in Illinois, 90% of the people would give blood. I mean, $100 would give blood. Really hard decision, Amy. Seriously? I'm going to give the blood, even if I'm not poor.
Thanks for the call, Candace. Yeah, you would give blood for a case of beer.
I'd give blood for volleyballs. I'm coaching the volleyball team. We need volleyballs, okay?
I'll tell you what, there's the idea. Forced blood donation to fund your volleyball team. I like that. You should work that out with the Cook County Circuit Court.
Roll Tide! This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
All right, do or die time for our beloved Chicago Cubs. And the weather tonight's going to be good. Today we're going to have very warm weather for this time of year. Average high is 60 degrees. We're going up to 76 degrees. We have a passing afternoon shower. By game time, it'll be 66 degrees at the friendly confines. And then tomorrow, a lot different, cooler, a high of 63. Let's get the travel times. Here's Al Verde.
Thanks, Amy. Dan Eden's inbound 32 minutes. Lake Cook.
Really proving that last week, late to beat San Francisco. And Shane Vereen, number 34, one of the best receiving black backs in football.
Three double-digit gains. Minutes. Eisenhower in Thorndale to the post office, an hour 3, 44 back out. Stevenson, an hour 2 into Lakeshore Drive, 42 back out to 355. Northbound 55 jams up from Weber to Lamont Road. Ryan into downtown, 30 minutes back out to 95th. No delays, so just 15. 57 inbound, still slow, 127th to the Ryan. Bishop Ford in from 115th to the Ryan is backed up, 25 minutes in from 8094. Lakeshore Drive northbound tight, Stevenson up to the Jackson, 25 minutes from 67th up. And we have delays on the Tri-State, northbound from Ridgeland to the 82nd Street Toll Plaza, also from Bensonville Bridge up to the Adams. I'm Al Verity in the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home, then you need to do what my friend Amy did here when she needed a mortgage, and that's call David Hochberg at Pearl Mortgage. Samantha, 26, purchased a home and talked with her realtor's preferred lender, who she didn't like or trust. Confused and overwhelmed, she called her mother for advice. After seeing David on TV for years and hearing him give outstanding advice, no-nonsense advice when he's on the radio, Samantha's mom strongly recommended she call David because he was the only lender she trusted. David answered Samantha's questions, presented different financing options, and David, not the realtor's preferred lender, is helping Samantha secure a mortgage. David loves realtors and strongly recommends everyone use a realtor, but you're buying the home and it's your decision which lender you use. If you're purchasing a home and you want to work with an honest lender that'll always look out for your best interests, do what Amy did. Call David, 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. That's am560david.com. David's helped Amy and thousands of AM560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. So call David at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA and MLS 19186. PearlMortgage.com/licensing.
My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients. Balance of Nature doesn't make any claims of treating or curing any particular disease, but I think the results speak for themselves.
I hate veggies, so this was a perfect way to get vitamins and veggies that worked with my body.
I do feel better, but as far as health-wise goes, I used to have to get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. I'm not doing that anymore. The ringing in my ear is a lot less than what it used to be. Those are the two things right away that I noticed, and I'm not as hungry as I used to be also.
When you can give your body a full variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in their 100% natural, whole food form, you receive the unmatched balance of nutrition. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
Are you or someone you know facing foreclosure? Losing the family home? Well, you'd be not alone, so please listen to this. There are a lot of issues in a foreclosure, legal issues, factual issues, dozens so far, and more coming to light every day. You see, people, we are in the aftermath of what will go down in history as the greatest financial crime in history, from which a lot of people profited immensely. And these people did not always do things entirely legally. That is a foregone conclusion. I'm Lou Bridges. I put together a law firm dedicated to foreclosure defense and to avoiding foreclosure by working with the banks, based on a thorough examination and analysis of all the potential issues and questions. And we have surrounded ourselves with people equally committed to this pursuit of justice.
Call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231. Or visit FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. That's FightIllinoisForeclosures.com. Get real answers from a real foreclosure defense firm and discover the legal tools at your disposal.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, so John Gruden, you know John Gruden, Super Bowl winning coach, coached the Raiders, coached the Bucs. Now he's an ESPN analyst, and
he does a good job. I like him.
He's great. I like him too.
He's
Chucky.
one of the best. Yeah, why do you call him Chucky? Is that what they're...
Yeah, that's his nickname because he looks like Chucky, you know, the Chucky from those movies.
Yeah, that hairdo is... But it's his own. He owns that thing.
He does.
That little mop on his head.
Well, and he also owns the comment he made on Monday Night Football.
Do we have to play this?
Monday night while talking about the Eagles and the Giants and Eli Manning in the 2-minute drill. Shane Vereen, running back, used to be with the Patriots, now with the Giants. And Shane Vereen being
Thanks, Dave. Is he on your fantasy football team?
He is not.
But you have 3 different fantasy football teams.
I do.
So you be sure not to lose.
Yes, and I hope FanDuel and DraftKings doesn't get shut down. That will negatively impact my income. But Shane Vereen, good pass-catching back. And Chucky made a said comment during the telecast. Listen to this, and you tell us, is Chucky racist? Was this comment racist?
Really proved that last week, late to beat San Francisco. And Shane Vereen, number 34, one of the best receiving black backs in football.
He had 3 double-digit gains on that game-winning drive, including a big 24-yarder.
So here's what he said. The audio is a little difficult, I know. I expect sometime in the near future for Eli Manning to use a double move. Eli, very good in the 2-minute drill. He proved that last week when they beat San Francisco. And Shane Vereen, number 34, is one of the best receiving black backs in football. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. Is that a racist comment? Of course, the Twitterverse lit up and lit Chucky up for making that comment. So
they crucified him on social media.
Well, that's what social media does. It crucifies people.
I know, but
that's what it's for.
But it was, to me, it was just clearly he stumbled on his words. Not as if that's never happened here, but I don't think it was racist. I don't think I don't want him to be suspended. I don't want him, obviously, to be fired, but gosh.
So if I said that you were one of the best Swedish talk show hosts working in the Chicago market, would that be offensive to you?
Offend me, Dan, because that's not offensive.
Right.
But it reminds me of Jimmy the Greek. Remember when he said this? And a little bit different, but...
Very different.
The black is the better athlete, and he's bred to be the better athlete because this goes back all the way to the Civil War, when during the slave trading, the slave owner would breed his big black to his big woman, so that he could have a big black kid.
Wait, it doesn't stop there.
They take over coaching like everybody wants them to. There's not going to be anything left for the white people. All the players are black. The only thing that the whites control is the coaching jobs. Now, I'm not being derogatory about it, but that's all that's left for them.
Oh, no.
With all due respect. I'm not okay.
All right,
all
what Jimmy the Greek said, it was nothing even close to what John Gruden said.
No, it's not close to Jimmy the Greek or Al Campanis. It's not that. Yes, Shane Vereen is just one of the best pass-catching backs in football.
Yes, that's what he meant to say.
It doesn't matter that he's black. John Gruden's been in football for a long time. It'd be very interesting to see what if this gets any reaction, because I know he was a real players coach and players love him.
Oh, love him.
So I don't know. I think maybe this is a bit of controversy over something that was not appropriate, but.
It was an honest mistake, but some say, it's a Freudian slip, and he sees color. That was somebody else wrote it on Twitter.
For those of, everything's a Freudian slip. Freud was a fraud, by the way.
Okay.
FYI.
Thanks, Dad.
Jimmy the Greek was no anthropologist, and Freud was really no psychologist. Don on 294.
Was the player not black? Is that the issue? We've got a black president. We identified black politicians. Well, I don't get the issue. If he was Mexican and he said he was the premier black, I would say there would be an issue. I don't get it.
Easy for you to say. Thanks for the call, Don. It's just the idea that Shane Vereen doesn't. Why are you referencing his race in terms of commenting on his football prowess? Yeah, you're not going to call every play this very good black quarterback pass to this very good wide receiver. It's just kind of odd, and so it was an odd thing Gruden said, but I don't think it is indicative of racism in his heart or some of the overheated comments in the Twitterverse. But we'll see how those who know him best, both at ESPN and in the NFL, respond to this, see if there's any disciplinary action taken in this politically correct culture, of which, by the way, ESPN is a big part of. So it'll be very interesting to see the reaction. If there's no reaction, that tells you a lot about how important this comment should be reviewed.
I'm not a racist. That's what's so insane about this.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
We're not gathered here united tonight because of the name of our teams or of our schools.
Witness the true story.
But because of the name
of a spiritual awakening.
Above all names.
That saved a high school.
Jesus.
And shook a city. Experience one hope.
Nobody out there knows what's happened with this team.
One truth.
But when you win on this day, they will!
One way. Make the changes to these boys only. Woodlawn.
I'm asking you to stand up right now and make a decision to change, to forgive, to choose Jesus.
I want you to stop all religious activities until this board has taken this matter under full review.
I think I'm gonna get hit no matter what I do. I got some tough decisions to make.
Woodlawn, now showing.
Hey, I wish this bag under my eye would just go away. If that sounds like you every day, you are not alone. Bags and puffiness under the eyes are a problem for millions of American men. That's right, you men out there, and women until now. Introducing the new Genucell serum with plant stem cell technology from Chamonix. They take the plant stem cells from a Swiss apple to make this product. I've been using it for 3 months. My sister uses it. Her skin is glowing. She looks great. We love it. And with its instant effects, which is a separate product, you'll see results in the first 12 hours or your money back. They guarantee it. So call now and save big on Genucell's risk-free introductory offer. Call 800-525-8323. That's 800-525-8323. Call now and you'll get the amazing Esotique face cream as a special gift simply by placing your order. That number again, 800-525-8323, 800-525-8323.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we'll talk to Steve Moore, Chief Economist at the Heritage Foundation at 7:37 about the imminent installment of Paul Ryan as House Speaker.
And it's do or die time for your Chicago Cubs. Peggy Kaczynski from NBC Sports will be here with us to tell us what our chances are. But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say hello to Mike Scott.
58 degrees, cloudy skies, and we're watching Iran this morning, where their supreme leader is endorsing the landmark deal with major world powers, but is urging caution on that nuclear deal, saying the U.S. government cannot be trusted. A pilot is dead after a U.S. military fighter jet went down in Britain this morning. Britain's Ministry of Defense says the F-18 crashed near a Royal Air Base in Suffolk. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump continues to go after fellow GOP candidate Jeb Bush.
Jeb has had a very hard time. He's way down in the polls. He's doing very poorly. He's embarrassed by what's happening, so he has to attack me to try and get his numbers up.
Trump on Good Morning America, but the political move of the day may have come from Florida Senator and GOP presidential candidate Marco Rubio, staying top of mind with a new Back to the Future 2 campaign ad that is out. Fans of the films recognize today as the day Marty McFly time traveled forward in the 1989 film. And the ad for Marco Rubio shows old footage of a youthful Joe Biden making a presidential campaign speech in 1988 alongside a much younger Hillary Clinton, promising generational change. An NYPD officer is dead after being shot in East Harlem Tuesday night at a press conference at that Harlem hospital. Police Commissioner in New York, Bill Bratton,
did what every other officer in the NYPD does. When the call comes, he ran toward danger. It was the last time he will respond to that call.
Police say they have a gunman in custody. Congressman Paul Ryan says he'll run for Speaker of the House if his GOP colleagues work together.
What I told members is, if you can agree to these requests, and if I can truly be a unifying figure, then I will gladly serve.
A number of people are without a home after a fire destroyed an apartment block in Oak Park in the 200 block of Washington Boulevard. No one was hurt. Cubs are a loss away from ending their season. The Mets have a commanding 3-0 series advantage in the NLCS after a 5-2 win at Wrigley Field last night. In the American League Championship Series, Royals a win away from going back to the World Series after routing Toronto 14-2, and the Bulls beat Indiana in the NBA preseason 103-94. The news, a service of Gerber Collision and Glass. At Gerber Collision and Glass, it's all about you. They offer a national lifetime warranty and have hours to fit your busy schedule. Stop by one of their nearly 60 Chicagoland locations to see why Gerber comes highly recommended. 7:34, it's time to check the climate of your business with Air Comfort and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher is tired of the gun control rhetoric.
If Chris had not been able to get a hold of 13 guns, it wouldn't have happened.
Empty rhetoric.
And my heart goes out to this father and the mother because their son will forever be known as the monster who killed innocent people. Stop blaming the gun, the inanimate object, for the evilness of the creature.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Remodel your kitchen or bath with Galaxy and get free installation, free design, and free financing. Call Galaxy at 773-783-8300 or schedule online at galaxyhome.com.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I am Willie Wilson, candidate for President of the United States. As your president, we must take care of our country first.
Paid for by Willie Wilson 2016.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Great coffee, period.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
Have you ever questioned whether your money is in the right place or thought that maybe you should be doing something different? Tune in Sunday mornings at 10 to In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos, founder and CEO of Wealth Management Group, LLC, right here on AM 560, The Answer. Visit them online at investwithwmg.com. That's investwithwmg.com.
7:36 in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. In for Jim, here's Hal.
Thanks, Mike. Eden's inbound 36-minute trip from Lake Cook to the Kennedy Junction. 24 back out. On the Kennedy inbound, a 56-minute ride is jammed all the way from Canfield right into downtown. 47 back out to O'Hare. Eisenhower inbound heavy an hour 14, Thorndale to the post office. 49 back out to Thorndale. And Stevenson inbound a full hour into Lakeshore Drive, 43 on the outbound trip. Dan Ryan inbound is 31, 95th to downtown. Still no outbound delays. 57 inbound from 127 to the Ryan, still heavy. 27 minutes in from 80. And Bishop Ford in slows from 115th to the Ryan. An accident on Lakeshore Drive, left lane is blocked. Southbound heavy from Lawrence to North Avenue. Traffic and Service of Flu Block. Did you know you have a choice in flu vaccine? This season, ask for Flu Block, the only pure choice, now available at Target and local retailers like Roundy's and Mariano's pharmacies. For more information, go to askforflublock.com or talk to your local healthcare professional. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Variable cloudy, breezy, and warm conditions with an afternoon passing shower, high 76. 58 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Live with Andrew Holmes. Get honest answers to your questions every Sunday at 12 noon.
Be nice.
My music means it's time. What?
Well, Stephen Moore is a huge Cub fan.
Oh.
Okay, so be nice.
Well, you know, what did I say? Nobody listens to Dan, but I said
oh, yeah. What did
wasn't going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
That sound means it's time. That music means it's time for us to be joined by the Sultan of Supplies Economics, a Nutrian, a Trevian, and a Cubs fan, and an Illini, and so many more, so many other things. Stephen Moore, Chief Economist at the Heritage Foundation. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, guys. I dreaded this call this morning. And by the way, I have tickets for Game 5. We better have a Game 5, or I'm going to be pretty pissed. I mean, I spent a lot of money for those tickets, but look, we can do this. We can do this, folks.
Okay.
Sweet. 4 in a row, baby.
You know, somebody that's normally so grounded to be engaged in this kind of delusional talk, Stephen, is a little concerning.
Well, it's, hopeful for experience.
There you go. Let's talk about Paul Ryan. Paul Ryan has changed his tune. Assuming that he can get a unified caucus, he is willing to be the speaker. He's going to get a unified caucus. He's going to be the speaker. Is that good news for the Republican Party?
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, I'm thrilled by this. I mean, I think this is the best news ever for the Republicans in a long, long time. Now, I'm biased. I'm personally a close friend of Paul's. He and I worked together 25 years ago for Jack Kemp. That's how far we go. And by the way, he's a modern day Jack Kemp. He has the optimism. He has the charisma. He goes out to the Black and Hispanic areas and young people, and he's truly wants to make Republicans a big tent party, and that's what needs to happen if Republicans are going to win. So I think he is dynamic. I think he's pro-growth. I mean, I laugh, guys, when some of my conservative friends at the Freedom Caucus, and I consider myself a Freedom Caucus guy, but to say, oh, he's not conservative enough, I mean, he's no conservative. I mean, my goodness, if Paul Ryan is not a conservative, we've got a pretty small tent in the conservative movement. He's going to be fantastic. He's going to, and by the way, do you all remember when Paul Ryan sort of first rose to fame? It was right after Barack Obama was elected. Remember that? And they had that. Obama had that economic summit, and Paul Ryan was there, and he just sliced and diced Obama into little pieces. Remember on the healthcare thing? It turned out Paul Ryan knew twice as much about healthcare than Obama did.
But don't you think his economic prowess will be missed on the Ways and Means Committee? If he takes
say that again.
I mean, don't you think he'll be missed on the House Ways and Means Committee if he takes the speakership?
No, it's funny. I had that conversation with him last week when I had dinner with him. This was right before this all came down, and the subject came up. This was the day before McCarthy announced he wasn't running for speaker, and I had said, Paul, if this comes up, will you be the speaker? And I said, no, I don't want to be speaker. I want to be Ways and Means Committee chairman. For the very reason you just said. His priorities. He wants to do tax reform and he wants to do entitlement reform. And I said, Paul, you're crazy. Yeah, as important a perch as it is to be Ways and Means Committee chairman, my goodness, if you're speaker, you can write all of the policies on trade, on taxes, on welfare, on immigration, whatever the policy, you do it from the speaker's office. So I think this is a big liftoff for the big things we need to do to make this economy grow faster. And there's no bigger expert on tax reform and entitlement reform and on trade and on immigration than Paul Ryan. So,
are there legitimate concerns about some of the tactical compromises he has made? For example, voting for the GM bailout. For example, aligning with Gutierrez on amnesty.
Okay, so I'm very pro-immigration as he is. So I'm Paul and I wrote about immigration 25 years ago. I think Paul and I have a similar attitude. We should say yes to immigration, no to illegal immigration. We want immigrants to come here who want to work hard and build a better life for themselves. We want to have the brainiacs that this is one of America's great competitive advantages, that we are a nation of immigrants, and we ought to still be. Amnesty is something that will not happen under the Republican Party. I promise that, folks. It's not going to happen. But look, he is someone also that is likable, and I don't say that in any kind of condescending way, but let's face it, in politics today, likability is so important. I was just reading an article right before, we came on the show about the election in Canada, Trudeau. 43-year-old, probably doesn't know a lot about the ways of the world, but he's, handsome, he's likable, he's affable, and that matters a lot in politics. So to have a face like Paul Ryan, who's not grimacing and angry, but optimistic, is a great face for the party. Literally and figuratively.
What does he mean, though, when he says about spending time with his family, and he has to make sure that, if he does take the speakership, that he's got to allow that to be a part of the plan?
Well, Amy, you as a woman should appreciate that, right? Because this is a big problem for working parents, is, having a job that, you're on call 24/7. And Paul is basically saying, look, I'm going to do this job. I'll raise, one of the big parts of being the Speaker of the House, you're the sort of titular head of the Republican Party. You're going to have to go out and raise a lot of money for your candidates. But he's not going to do that 7 days a week. And good. He shouldn't have to. Being a, top political leader in this country shouldn't mean you have to abandon your children. He wants to be there for the birthday parties and the soccer games and that kind of thing.
We all want that. I just,
that's true.
We all want to spend more time with our kids, but that's just not what life is about. If you have to work to support them.
Well, okay, so what are you saying, Amy, that he shouldn't be speaker because he has young kids?
No, I just think there's a lot of vacillation going on. If he really wanted it, I think he would have accepted it by now. But then he said, let me know by Friday. by week's end.
Look, I agree with you actually on this. I think this kind of Hamlet, to be or not to be. I think it took too long. He should have said yes immediately. But look, he was truly one of the things I like about Paul Ryan, guys, is he's actually not that nakedly politically ambitious as most of his colleagues are, and most of them would kill to be Speaker of the House.
But part of this calculation, part of Ryan's calculation, was its potential impact being Speaker, the potential impact it could have on him being a national candidate, wasn't it?
You know what? You're exactly right about that, Dan. And I think that was a calculation for him. This probably means that Paul Ryan will not be president of the United States, because if you're Speaker of the House, you have to take the fall for every decision that's made in Congress, and there are a lot of unpopular things that happen. By the way, Dan, just so you don't think I'm a wimp here, I was against the bailout.
I know you were.
He was for them, so he and I had an honest disagreement about that. But look, if you're a Republican, if you're a conservative, you got to be thrilled. This is a new day for the party. And I said on Fox News this morning, I know you guys were watching, I said, look, how about this? You're going to have Marco Rubio as president, you're going to have Tony as vice president, and you're going to have Paul Ryan as the Speaker. I mean, that is a pretty damn good lineup for the Republicans.
Rubio and Fiorina, that's the ticket, according to Steve Moore. That's interesting.
Heard it first here.
What
happened to your guy, Rand Paul?
Yeah, what happened to Rand Paul?
And he's going to be the Secretary of Defense.
I thought you were going to say he was going to be the head of the Fed.
I think he wants to be this. But, of course, he'll be the head of the Fed, and then he's going to abolish the agency.
There you go.
I'm in charge and I'm getting rid of everything.
Well, one other question about Paul Ryan. What do you think, from your conversations with him, he has learned from his experiences being Romney's VP nominee?
Learned what?
What do you think he's learned that's going to make him a better speaker?
That's a good question. I think, he has learned that, look, you have to be... I'll tell you one thing. The Republicans lost in 2012, as you know, because people didn't think that Mitt Romney cared about them, right? People thought that Barack Obama cared more about them than Romney. So part of politics is the optics of, as Jack Kemp used to say, and this is something that we all as conservatives, assuming those listening to the show are conservatives, we should always remember. There's so much wisdom in this sentence that, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. And that is true. Republicans come across too often as angry and uncaring, and we have to basically go to the black neighborhoods and the black schools and the Hispanic areas and the poor areas and the university and say, I care about you. I care about your voice. I care about your future. Our policies are going to make you better off. We as Republicans don't do a very good job of that. And I'm not assuming you guys are Republicans, but I am one. And, sometimes I always say, the reason I know Republicans are the pro-life party is the Republicans are always in the fetal position.
Right.
And hopefully they're going to get out of that, with Paul Ryan at the head of the party now.
All right, Steve Moore, Chief Economist of the Heritage Foundation. Thanks for joining us.
Go. I've got to have a Game 5. I'll be there.
Oh, good.
At least get to Game 5 for Steve Moore.
Steve Moore will be standing in front of Wrigley by himself with a ticket.
Real quick, let's go to Dennis in Crystal Lake.
Hey, how's it going, Dan and Amy?
Good.
Hey, I don't even know why you guys got this guy on. I mean, he's basically just a cheerleader for Ryan. Hey, I was in the military for 20 years. I would have loved to spend a lot of time with my kids. There is no great. He wasn't too worried about his kids when he was drafted as vice president and had the chance to be one heartbeat away from being the most powerful man in the country. So and now he wants to dictate terms. And his immigration, he's for amnesty. I don't even want to hear it. And going to black neighborhoods, the guy that just got off that phone wouldn't know a black neighborhood from a guy staying brown neighborhood because he stays in his lily white neighborhood.
Okay, Dennis.
Well, that's a little aggressive, but
that's Dennis. Dennis is a bit aggressive.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. Sean from Elmwood Park.
Another aggressor.
Well, that's absolute Fabian socialism, what you just heard. Absolute fraud, because I'm going to tell you, I love history, and I love the idea. I'm fascinated by it that these single dictators have been able to overtake countries, and they all have a couple things in common. First of all, they're all reluctantly dragged in, every one of them.
Oh, wait. Are you suggesting Paul Ryan is some kind of dictator?
Yes, he
Come
is.
on.
Yeah, well, let me ask you a question. Why else would he demand that we remove our ability to remove him should he become one? You don't find that troubling? That's his first demand.
Well,
that
how
unless
bad do
we
they
put
want him,
down,
Sean, if they want him so bad, you know,
no, they don't. They don't.
The chair.
People like Stephen Moore want him. People who want absolute control want him. We, the people, don't want him. Your last caller is representative of the people. What has he achieved? He's worked on tax reform. That's his big claim to fame. He doesn't want to leave it. What tax reform have we had? He's an absolute fraud and a failure. He money launders campaign contributions and protects the oligarchy.
And a money launderer. All right,
he absolutely
Sean.
is.
All right,
what has he done?
Go take your medicine.
Drive the Wienermobile, Ryan. That's what you're good for.
Thanks for the call, Sean.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I think Sean needs some tea. And I'm talking not tea. Anyway, today it's going to be variable cloudiness, some sunshine, breezy, very warm, a high of 76 degrees, but we can't rule out a passing afternoon shower. By game time, game 4 of the NLCS, it's going to be 66 degrees for that Cubby victory. And then tomorrow, cooler with some sunshine and patchy clouds, a high of 63. Let's get the travel times. Here's Al Verdi, who's in for Jim Telemonte.
Thank you. Lakeshore Drive southbound is jammed up between Lawrence and North Avenue, where an accident has the left lane blocked. Instead of usual 15 minutes, it's 40 from Hollywood down to Monroe. Eden's inbound is 32. Lake Hook to the Kennedy Junction, 29 back out. Kennedy inbound still heavy, an hour 4. O'Hare to downtown. Express lanes will save you about 7 minutes. Otherwise, it's 40 from Montrose in. Kennedy out to O'Hare is 47 minutes. Eisenhower, an hour 15 into the post office, 49 back out to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour 1 into Lakeshore Drive, 42 on the outbound trip. Dan Ryan, 32 into downtown, no outbound delays. 57 inbound slows from 111th to the Ryan. Bishop Ford inbound from 103rd to the Ryan. A little back up there, 23 minutes in from 8094. And on the Tri-State, southbound at the Adams, right lane of the exit ramp is blocked. A truckload shifted. I'm Al Verdi in the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Gentlemen, Dan Proft here. When it comes to your health, do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone? I do. Low T Center makes it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and know your results within minutes. If you're a man over 40 and have noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or libido, you may have low testosterone. Low T makes you feel tired and grumpy. It can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. At Low T Center, it takes just minutes for results, and services are covered by most health insurance. They even have convenient and flexible hours. So do yourself a favor and get your levels checked. Call 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305. Or go to lowtcenter.com and tell them Dan Proft sent you.
Founded in 1922, Unico National is the largest Italian-American service and charitable organization in America with over 120 local chapters in 22 states. Its volunteer members support scholarships, cancer research, mental health, Cooley's anemia, and many local causes while celebrating their Italian heritage. Chicagoland Unico chapters invite you to this special free event. Rediscover your Italian heritage. Wednesday, November 4th at Casa Italia in Stone Park. Join your neighbors of Italian heritage for an evening of enjoyment with Italian food tastings, Italian lessons, cultural info, and more. Plus the opportunity to join Unico. This is a free event, but reservations are required. Call 1-800-947-0137 to reserve your spot. 800-947-0137 or visit unico.org. That's UNICO.org. Unico National. Rediscover your Italian heritage. 800-947-0137 or unico.org. That's UNICO.org.
This is Dan Proft with an Upstream Idea, brought to you in part by the Illinois Policy Institute. In the brave new world of big data, sometimes we forget that politics is about people's lives. When we forget this fundamental truth, people without political clout get hurt, and all of us suffer a loss of dignity in the process. And so the number for your consideration in this installment of Illinois by the Numbers is 47. 47th is where Illinois ranks nationally in the provision of services to persons with developmental disabilities. Providing or not providing for those who need state support through no fault of their own is a mirror that reflects our humanity, our moral health. The result is families who have a family member with a developmental disability have fled Illinois just as entrepreneurs have to live in, well, more civilized states. This is happening on our watch. As an Illinois resident, this is happening on my watch. We are all culpable, and now none of us can any longer pretend not to know. For more ideas like this, visit upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. I'm Dan Proft.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, I like to pick a fight. So Sean from Homewood Park says Paul Ryan is a dictator in the making. He's accomplished
and
nothing.
Money launderer.
And a money launderer, too. Sure,
Yeah.
can't forget that.
Put that on his resume.
Mark in Des Plaines.
My gosh. I mean, what does Sean says he likes history, but, does he know anything about the conservative movement in this country from the 50s on, the McCarthy era, et cetera? I mean, Paul Ryan knows numbers. Thank goodness he's willing to sacrifice his presidential ambitions to do this job that needs to be done. We need somebody who can balance the budget for once in history, you know what I mean, in recent history. My gosh, the conservative movement in this country is the newest form of political ideology out there. And, man, Sean, get your facts straight.
Thanks for the call, Mark. So there's one vote that Paul Ryan's legit. Bob in West Chicago.
So the last guy doesn't know what he's talking about either.
All right.
Yeah.
Battle Royale.
Ryan doesn't really know his numbers. He's never gone for a balanced budget. Stephen Moore is just talking from somewhere else. Dave Brat is the only economist in Congress. Why aren't we focusing on somebody that knows numbers for sure?
Thanks for the call, Bob. Dave Brat, for those of you scoring at home, is the gentleman who defeated Eric Cantor. You'll
that's
recall.
right.
Yes.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. That's right. I'm now Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, give me a call. I'm the same guy that's provided listeners with honest advice and outstanding customer service for the past 13 years. The only thing that's changed is where I work. When you had questions about purchasing a home, you called me and I helped you. When you and your parents had questions about reverse mortgages, you called me and I helped you. When you needed help refinancing to lower your mortgage payments so you could afford the home after your spouse passed away, you called me and I helped you. If you'd like to talk to me about a mortgage, give me a call at 312-751-1333. That's 312-751-1333. Email me, david@pearldavid.com. That's david at PERLDavid.com. Or visit my website, am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, licensed by DBO under California RMLA, NMLS 19186, pearlmortgage.com licensing.
For a long time, Turnkey IT has been providing solutions to AM 560 business owners. It's a name that you have come to know and trust. Turnkey IT takes care of your technology and has a plan that fits your company's IT budget and network needs. Are you interested in moving some or all of your business to the cloud? Turnkey IT can migrate your network to Microsoft's Office 365. Need someone to call when you can't print, have a lost file, or need tech support? Turnkey IT's got you covered. Offsite backup? Check. On-site support? Check. Help desk support? Check. Turnkey IT staff is professional, friendly, punctual, and will solve all of your technical problems immediately and work even after normal business hours, all for a fixed monthly rate. Turnkey IT knows your network is truly the heartbeat of your company, so focus on your business and leave the technical stuff to the pros. Visit turnkey.pro today for a plan that fits your needs. That's turnkey.pro.
And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
CEO pay is far higher than it was 40 years ago. But is this rising pay deserved? Not according to the critics of inequality. They tell us that no business leader is worth 100 times the lowest paid employee. But the question is, who has the right to decide what constitutes fair pay? The answer is the people cutting the check, the company's owners. The reason shareholders pay CEOs so much is because CEOs matter. The wrong CEO can sink a company. The right CEO can raise a company to great heights. What the inequality critics object to is not that CEOs are getting paid more than they're worth. What they object to is high pay as such. For more, see my forthcoming book with Don Watkins and listen to my show. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been a moment of objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to the Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ariradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Chicago's safe money strategist.
Okay, now I'm about to retire. What do I do with my 401k? What do I do with my IRAs? How do you take your money out of your accounts effectively? We have strategies where you can create your own pension. That's the only way to do it.
Join Raj Shah for Secure Retirement Radio, strategies for building and protecting your money. Sundays at 7 a.m. here on AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
24 hours away from Hillary before the Benghazi Committee, we'll talk to a former CIA operative about what he hopes to hear from former Secretary Clinton.
And speaking of Democrats, the lineup has changed in the Democratic presidential race. We'll explain. But first, here's Mike Scott.
Here are the stories we're watching right now. Mets beat the Cubs to take a 3-0 series advantage in the NLCS. And a fighter jet goes down in Great Britain. Fox with the latest on that story. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. An American fighter jet goes down in Britain. It's a deadly crash. In Fox News Radio's Simon Owens live in London.
Dave, British police and the U.S. Embassy here saying the pilot of a supersonic F-18 jet was killed when the plane came down this morning shortly after taking off from a military base in eastern England. The crash occurring on farmland. The U.S. Air Force says it's investigating, but is yet to release details. Dave?
Simon, in New York City, an officer dead, shot last night pursuing a shooting suspect.
Officer Holder encountered an armed suspect on a stolen bike. The suspect fired and hit Officer Holder in the head.
Robert Moses with Fox 5 TV on the scene in East Harlem.
His alleged killer is in custody. We're told he was wounded in an exchange of gunfire.
It is the fourth NYPD cop murdered in the line of duty in 11 months. In New Mexico, police in Albuquerque still searching for the shooter in a road rage incident yesterday on a highway. A 4-year-old girl was killed. Her parents were in the car but not injured. The Muslim kid from Texas who just took that infamous homemade clock he made that got him arrested to the White House is getting ready to leave the country. Fox News Radio's Jeff Manasso has this live.
14-year-old Ahmed Mohammed and his family have taken an offer of free high school and college, and they're moving to Qatar after the Muslim boy was arrested last month but not charged with bringing what staff said looked like a bomb to his Irving, Texas school. Turned out to be digital clock components stuffed in a metal box. The attention, Dave, earned Mohammed a trip to the White House.
Jeff, Star Wars fans literally can't wait.
The Force, it's calling to you.
And they've answered, buying advance tickets online, setting an IMAX record with $6.5 million in sales 2 months before The Force Awakens comes out. MovieTickets.com says 95% of all sales on its site the past 24 hours were for the new Star Wars. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies, 58 degrees. Just a peek at sunshine through the morning and a chance of rain later today. 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott. A number of people are without a home after a fire blazed through an apartment complex in Oak Park. Officials overnight say the blaze began early in the morning in the 200 block of Washington Boulevard. All 22 units inside that property were left unlivable. No one was hurt except a firefighter who suffered minor injuries. Cubs are one loss away from the end of their season. The Mets take a commanding 3-0 lead in the NLCS after a 5-2 win last night. Cubs manager Joe Maddon.
I'm really happy that it's not a 5-game series that we're going through right now. I'm really pleased with that. The fact that we still have an opportunity to come back and do this, of course, you think about those things. You think about the parallels. Think about the fact that happened against the New York team. You think about all that stuff, but it's up to us to go out there and play and perform and execute.
New York can sweep that best-of-7 set with a win tonight on the north side. Trustees at the College of DuPage have voted to fire its embattled president, voting 4-1 yesterday to remove Robert Bruder in the wake of an internal investigation. Former Chicago Alderman Sandy Jackson beginning her 1-year prison term. The wife of ex-Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. surrendered yesterday to a minimum security camp and federal officials in Alderson, West Virginia. Booster shots are being given out at Northern Illinois University. The school responding to cases of the mumps. The DeKalb Daily Chronicle reporting there have been at least 10 cases among student athletes since the beginning of the month. We told you about the Mets and Cubs. Here are your starters for tonight. Steven Matz for the Mets, Jason Hamill for the Cubs. Kansas City a win away from returning to the World Series after a 14-2 rout of Toronto. The news service of WesternUnion.com's mobile app. You might be stuck in traffic, but your money shouldn't be. Send money around the world 24/7 with the Western Union mobile app. Download the app, send your money fast. Next time you need to send money, quickly get out of a jam and tap the Western Union app. It's money. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here's Carol Zimmer.
From the Fox Business Network, U.S. stock futures are higher. European stocks falling overnight, dragged lower by third-quarter earnings reports and the biggest fall in Chinese stocks in over a month. Shares of Yahoo also dropping after the company reported third-quarter earnings that fell short of analysts' estimates. Yahoo has been facing stiff competition from Google and Facebook and hasn't been able to hold on to market share in key areas such as mobile advertising. ESPN Sports Network is reportedly planning to eliminate as many as 350 positions. Those cuts could be announced as early as today. And Back to the Future is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year, and major companies are looking to cash in. Pepsi will sell a limited edition run of Pepsi Perfect bottles. Marty McFly buys Pepsi Perfect in Back to the Future 2. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Carol Zimmer.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
You saw him moderate the CNN presidential debate.
Hugh Hewitt, nice man.
Now you can see him live at Freedom Summit Chicago 2015. Hugh Hewitt is coming to Freedom Summit.
Hugh Hewitt.
Hugh Hewitt.
Hugh Hewitt. Hugh Hewitt.
And he joins an already packed lineup that includes Ann Coulter and AM 560's Sean Hannity. Freedom Summit Chicago on November 14th in Itasca with Hugh Hewitt, Sean Hannity, and Ann Coulter. Get your tickets today at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com.
SquareTrade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with one claim compared to Asurion total equipment coverage as of August 10, 2015.
Getting a new iPhone? Get this. Every 2 seconds, one of us accidentally breaks our phone. So protecting all the phones in your family is a smart idea. But if you have insurance through your wireless carrier, you're paying way too much. I'm Steve Abernethy, and I founded SquareTrade to give you a better choice. Phone insurance through your wireless carrier can cost as much as $11 a month. For a family of 4, that's $44 every month. Plus, up to a $199 deductible when you break your phone. SquareTrade family protection plans cost less than $4 a month per phone with a much lower deductible. We can save your family over $500. Whether you've got a new iPhone or any other smartphone, stop overpaying for phone insurance and protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade instead.
Protect all the phones in your family with SquareTrade and save over $500. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
8:06 in our Chicago RadioDeals.com traffic center. In for Jim, here's Alverde.
Hi, Mike. We have a problem on Lakeshore Drive. This is southbound. Traffic is jammed up between Bryn Mawr and North Avenue, where an accident has a left lane blocked. Instead of usual 15 minutes, it's 45 from Hollywood down to Monroe. On the Edens, 32-minute trip inbound to to Montrose and 29 back out to Lake Cook. Kennedy into downtown is an hour 12:43 back out to O'Hare. Eisenhower, an hour 18 into the post office, 55 back out to Thorndale. Stevenson in an hour 9 to Lakeshore Drive, 40 back out. And Dan Ryan inbound, we're looking at 36 to downtown, no outbound delays. 57 inbound, touches the brakes between 111th and the Ryan. Bishop Ford inbound from 103rd to the Ryan, still backed up. 23 in from 8094. On the Tri-State, southbound at the Adams, the right lane of the exit ramp is blocked where a truck lost its load. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A breezy day today with wind gusting up to 30 miles per hour in the afternoon. Variably cloudy with a passing shower in the afternoon with a high 76. Then a shower left over in a few spots for the evening. Otherwise, clouds will break later tonight with a low of 50. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
58 degrees. Your next news update, 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
The stress is you just got to relax and remember how happy you are that the Cubs are in the playoffs.
I may not be on the road as often as previous speakers, but I pledge to try and make up for it with more time communicating our vision, our message.
President Obama and I have ideologically had no disagreement. None. I mean, zero.
Hey, Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Well, we're going, we don't need roads.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
What up, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson? So, Hillary Clinton will be before Trey Gowdy's Benghazi Oversight Committee tomorrow.
Yeah, this is pregame. Benghazi pregame right here.
I hope Trey Gowdy really drives the questioning, and because I think he will ask questions like a prosecutor does, methodically. I think, and I hope there will be limited speechifying and maximizing the time available to really plumb the depths of what happened in Benghazi and, frankly, what was going on in Benghazi, because there are a lot of issues to discuss, not just what happened on September 11th, 2012, but, of course, that's going to be a big part of it.
But what was security like before, leading up to September 11th?
Right, and we've gotten some indications from Trey Gowdy of correspondence between Ambassador Stevens and the State Department in June, the June prior to the attack on September 11th, 2012. So, I mean, all of that is interesting, but also interesting is the question of, was there a gun-running operation in Benghazi pipelining weapons through to Syrian rebels? That's something that ostensibly the State Department would know something about, and the Secretary of State. And so is that an area where we could potentially obtain new information? For more insights, let's talk to somebody who was on the inside. We're talking to Mike Baker. He's a former covert operations officer with the CIA. Now he's the president and founder of a private intelligence and security firm. And he joins us now. Mike, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Sure, thank you.
So let's start, before we get to Hillary's emails and the attack on Benghazi that where Ambassador Stevens and his men were murdered. The questions about a covert operation to run guns through Benghazi to Syrian rebels, is that something that you would like to see explored? Is that something that sounds like could have been ongoing, as has been reported in various ways and various outlets over the last few months?
Well, I think, if you sense frustration in my voice, because I think this is the problem, right? That has nothing to do with Benghazi, which has nothing to do with the emails, which is the reason why we're still discussing this, and nothing has been accomplished in relation to the deaths of the four individuals all this time on. Because the questioning, and you mentioned this at the beginning, hopefully the questioning will be, direct and will be focused and will be prosecutorial-like. It's too early for me to say that word properly. But you know what I mean. The problem has been that we get disappearing down these rabbit holes. The public gets confused. They start to think, well, I don't understand it, so therefore it can't be that important, so therefore this is just some witch hunt. And so the idea of the covert operation to provide weapons to the Syrians, well, you know what? I would like to think that, yes, there was something going on that was along those lines, because at least that would show that somebody had some cojones at some point early on in the Syrian civil war and was trying to take some strategic action to to assist in the fight against Assad at that early stage. Now it's too late. Now it's a goat rope, and you really don't have any good solutions.
But
the problem is, sorry, go ahead.
Well, couldn't you argue or at least explore the idea that one was connected to the other if there was this covert gun running operation?
But one doesn't have anything to do with the other. The problem we've got is we've got four dead people, and that was a lack of fortitude, a lack of strong, proactive leadership to send in the cavalry and try to save a problem that was very clear as it was unfolding.
Let me suggest a possible connection, and this is conjecture on my part, but why this potentially needs to be explored. Maybe if there was a covert operation that was ongoing and the State Department wanted plausible deniability and essentially suggested you guys are on your own, so if things break bad on the ground, we are going to deny that you even exist. And so that was perhaps something that informed the lack of response that you're describing. Is that too far-fetched?
Yeah, that's sort of a beach book feature film kind of thing.
All right.
Look, they've got the guys out there in the field. This is a very simple issue, but the problem is that the Republicans have not been smart enough to stay on point. But you've got people out in the field. We know for a fact. Let me try to break it down as simple as possible. We know for a fact that the security was a problem. We've known that for several years now, and nobody's really disputed the fact that there was a requirement for State Department to upgrade the security that was out there. So that part's clear. Now you had a sort of a conflagration of events. The ambassador should never have gone up there on that day. That's clear because honestly, that they knew the security was bad. They knew they had leak problems in terms of intelligence coming out of there. They knew that they had outsourced the security of that facility to 17 February, which was a local militia that we didn't really have a lot of control over. So that was a problem. But our guys were on the ground providing security in a situation where they knew it was a hostile environment. But yet if something were to happen, the covenant, the promise that's made is that we will send in the cavalry. We will try to help. And there were repeated requests for assistance that were denied and that were not paid attention to, and that they didn't do it. So you have the White House sitting in the Situation Room as this thing is unfolding, and it is clear what's going on to the tactical operators, and there was no attempt to even try. And that's the point that should be hammered on time and time again. Where's your leadership?
Well, what did Hillary Clinton know, and when did she know it? Like, where was she during this whole attack?
Well, yeah, that's a very, very good question. Why hasn't somebody at this point said, let me see the logbook for the Situation Room, for the war room. Let me see who was in there. I guarantee you, if we looked at who logged in that night and was sitting in that room, you probably had far more political White House spin doctors than you did tactical operators. Because what was happening? We were coming up on a national election. So I guarantee you this problem was that you didn't have anybody with the balls to say, we've got to get the birds up in the air and at least try. The guys on the ground trying to save the situation and trying to save lives, they don't expect you're going to save their lives necessarily, but they do expect you to try. That's what's so astoundingly awful about this. And yet, the Republicans doing this just keep disappearing down rabbit holes, making this thing so confusing that people just at this point are just saying, it's not, I don't get it.
We're talking to Mike Baker. He's spent 17 years as a covert field operations officer for the CIA, specializing in counterterrorism, counter-narcotics, counterinsurgency operations. So, Mike, in addition to the response or the lack thereof when the compound was under attack, are there other issues that you think are important? For example, the security or lack thereof of Hillary's emails. Bob Baer, another former CIA agent, had suggested that when the information came out that there was top secret satellite imagery that was on Hillary Clinton's unsecured server, that should disqualify her from being president of the United States. Is the Hillary email and her security and information that was on her unsecured server, is that an issue that you think should be explored, or is that another rabbit hole?
Well, no, I think that's a separate issue. I mean, what she should be answering going into the hearing tomorrow is simply a timeline issue of, as you pointed out just now. I mean, what did she know? When did she know it? Where were you? Who else was there? And it's as simple as that. Why didn't you try? What was the mitigating factor that convinced everyone in the room, the president, you, the defense secretary, to not put the birds up in the air and make the effort think about what would have happened. Of course, yes, very likely they wouldn't have saved those lives, but they would have then had operators on the ground, and they would have secured the site, and at the end of the day, we wouldn't be talking about any of this. So something serious affected their decision, and I guarantee you it was the election and the fear of having a Black Hawk Down situation where it was going to be a goat rope on the ground, and that's what scared them to the point where they thought, we'll just not do anything. There's no leadership there. She doesn't deserve to be president just simply for that reason.
So, Mike, hypothetically speaking, let's say you're on the Benghazi committee hearing. What one question would you ask Hillary Clinton?
Why did you not make the effort? Why didn't you try? Why didn't you try to save these people? Why didn't you try when you had no idea how bad it was going to get? And it could have been a whole lot worse. Why didn't you try?
Mike Baker, good question. I hope it gets asked tomorrow. Mike Baker, former covert operations officer with the CIA, now the president and co-founder of a private intelligence and security firm. Mike, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Sure, thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Some thick cloud coverage right now. It's going to be breezy out there, warm as the day progresses. A high of 76 degrees. We can't rule out a passing afternoon shower. By game time, do or die time, Dan's calling it. It's going to be 66 degrees and cloudy. And then tomorrow, a lot cooler. We'll have partly sunny skies, a high of 63. Travel times, here's Al Verde.
Amy, Dan, Lakeshore Drive southbound. An earlier accident is cleared at North Avenue, but the damage is already done. Traffic is backed up from Bryn Mawr, so instead of 15 minutes, it's 45 from Hollywood down to Monroe. Eden's inbound is 32, Lake Hook to the Kennedy Junction, also 32 back out to Lake Hook. Kennedy into downtown, an hour 13, 43 back out to O'Hare. And on the Eisenhower inbound, still an hour 20 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, 57 on the outbound trip. Stevenson into Lakeshore Drive is heavy, an hour 10, 42 back out to 355. Dan Ryan in slows from the merge to 79th, again from 35th into the circle. 27 in, 95th to downtown. No outbound delays. 57 inbound backs up 111th to the Ryan. Bishop Ford inbound slow from 103rd to the Ryan. 23 in from 8094. Lakeshore Drive northbound, that's tight between the Stevenson and Jackson. 28 minutes from 67th up. And Lakeshore Drive northbound after Chicago Avenue, a disabled vehicle got the left lane blocked. I'm Al Verde in the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
I know you want to work with a Chicagoland real estate agent with qualified buyers who can guarantee to sell your home. That's why you should call Saul Z and the Z team. The average agent sells 8 homes a year. As a top agent with great marketing, Saul averages over 300. If 29 days pass without a sale on your listing, Saul will buy it. And working with Saul won't obligate you to anything because if you aren't happy, you just cancel the contract. For example, Jason had his Hinsdale home on the market for 10 months with another agent. He switched the listing to Saul, and in a very short time, the home sold for $806,000, a full $37,000 above the original list price. That's why the Wall Street Journal ranks Saul among the top 250 agents in the country. I know I'll be calling Saul when I'm ready to sell my well-appointed condo or buy a new home. So go to callsaul.net, that's Saul, S-A-U-L.net, to find out what your home's worth, or call Saul directly at 888-346-0666. That's 888-346-0666, and start packing.
My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients. Balance of Nature doesn't make any claims of treating or curing any particular disease, but I think the results speak for themselves.
The gospel truth about it is that the thing I'm most excited about is that after having my gallbladder out 3 years ago, I had constant pain in my side that was something that they couldn't attribute to anything other than probably a poor diet. Since I've been on these supplements, is really making a difference in my life. I feel better. I have no pain.
When you can give your body a full variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in their 100% natural, whole food form, you receive the unmatched balance of nutrition. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-478 471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59.5, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
AM 560, The Answer.
So, Dan, I watched it so you didn't have to. The View. I'm pretty good friends with Paula Ferris, so I try and support her and watch when I can.
I feel sorry for Paula Ferris.
Well, she was in the big chair yesterday because Whoopi Goldberg was off, so she slid into her position. And they had Martin O'Malley on, and he brought one of his favorite campaign props. He kind of had it tucked behind his chair, and that's the guitar.
Take us to break, Governor O'Malley. Yeah, go ahead.
Really?
Play
Right now?
something. Right now. Yes. Are we putting you on the spot? Take your blazer. Michelle just screamed, take your blazer off. Okay. First of all, the guitar is emerald green. Bring it on. It's
okay,
gorgeous.
bring it.
Let's see what you got.
So, what do we do here?
Oh, wow.
Candace, all right, they're one of
No, me, you want me to play that? Oh, come on.
No, I couldn't. Okay, well, if you insist.
So he finally got on his guitar and started humming.
Because, baby, now we got bad blood. You know it used to be bad blood. So take a look at what you've done. Because, baby, now we got bad blood.
Hey! Now we got
bad blood. And now we can't talk.
Save him from himself and stop that. But he chose the Taylor Swift song Bad Blood because Katy Perry is endorsing Hillary Clinton. She's doing a benefit concert for her in Iowa.
She kissed a girl and she liked it. Of course she's doing a benefit for Hillary.
But he wasn't. Yes.
Marty O'Malley, a lot of people don't know this,
Mm-hmm.
part of the original New Kids on the Block, but he was cut. He was going to be the bad boy, the Donnie Wahlberg.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out.
No, it didn't. But he was,
and neither is his presidential campaign going to work out.
No, it's not. But he wasn't the only Democrat making.
But let's remember Marty O'Malley as memorialized on Saturday Night Live in their parody of the debate, because we're not going to be talking about Marty O'Malley much more. Because like Lincoln Chafee, he's about to wave bye to America forever.
Hello, I'm Martin O'Malley. This is what my voice sounds like. This is what my face looks like. When I was mayor of Baltimore, I did such a good job, they made 2 TV shows about my city, Homicide and The Wire.
Good stuff.
Oh, that's good. But also dropping out, and we're changing the starting lineup now. Jim Webb not leaving the race, but leaving the party.
These are starters?
Well, he blamed the DNC for allowing dominance of Hillary. Too much Hillary and not enough Jim Webb.
Why, as an independent, do you think you could gain that traction that you couldn't gain as a Democrat?
Oh, I think it's been very difficult in the Democratic Party primary process with the dominance of one candidate, not only in her candidacy, but in the structure of the Democratic Party, the financing structures, the hierarchies themselves, the DNC. So it's been, a very careful process that I put forward here. And again, as I said, I have issues that I care about that maybe aren't in line with that particular hierarchy. So
is he an old school Democrat? He's not progressive enough? Is that
that's right.
the reason why he had to leave the party?
Yeah, he's sort of like a Scoop Jackson Democrat. I mean, Webb has a difficult time communicating succinctly in an important way, but it was on display at the debate. I mean, he takes positions that are anathema to the base of the party. You've got a party where a third to 40% are supporting a avowed socialist who believes you can run the U.S. economy on Vermont maple syrup, and Jim Webb is an adult But his positions on issues, and he has some thoughtful explanations on issues like affirmative action, which he tried to get out at the debate. They're just out of step with the radical left takeover of the Democrat Party, and that's precisely what's happened. It is being driven by MoveOn.org. It is being driven by Black Lives Matter. It is a kind of an intolerant thugocracy of the radical left, and it has no place for Jim Webb. Now, to a bit of criticism for Jim Webb, he could have made more of an issue out of what Hillary has been doing and what is going on in his party than he chose to do at that debate. So he has to own that as well.
Everyone was so afraid to attack her, or just not even attack her, but just ask her substantive questions about emails, about Benghazi. And everybody shied away from her. They just
that's right.
let it out there. They treated her with kid gloves. It was almost as if they didn't want to upset the queen.
Megan McArdle has a piece in Bloomberg that they wasted their chance to test Clinton and make her a better candidate, which primaries can do for the nominee. She describes the other candidates as treating her like a delicate ant whose ears must be protected from harsh words. She goes on to write, McArdle does, Lincoln Chafee's attempt to bring up the email issue was probably the closest they came to the sort of sling she will suffer in the general election, but not very close, since he delivered this with the frightened determination of a second grader given his first speaking role in the Christmas play.
So Jim Webb now, when is Lincoln Davenport Chafee going to resign? Or not resign, but drop out of the race?
To drop out, stay in. What's the difference?
Hello, I'm Jim Webb, and it's about damn time I get to talk. What has it been, 1,000 years? Here's the deal. I fought in Vietnam, and I'm not going to brag about how much ass I kicked, but let's just say I kicked every single ass. And now that we've met...
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
We're not gathered here united tonight because of the name of our teams or of our schools.
Witness the true story,
but because of the name
of a spiritual awakening
above all names
that saved a high school,
Jesus,
and shook a city. Experience one hope.
Nobody out there knows what's happened with this team.
One truth.
But when you win on this day, they will!
One way.
Make the changes to these boys' own.
Woodlawn.
I'm asking you to stand up right now and make a decision to change, to forgive, to choose Jesus.
I want you to stop all religious activities until this board has taken this matter under full review. I think I'm gonna get hit no matter what I do. I got some tough decisions to make.
Woodlawn, now showing.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, back to baseball we go. It's do or die time, literally, for our Chicago Cubs.
And finally, the story I've been dying to get to, why one feminist will never again date a male feminist. We'll have that at 8:48.
But first, let's go back into the newsroom and say hello again to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Following developments in Great Britain this morning where a U.S. Navy pilot is dead, a fighter jet going down in Britain this morning. Britain's Ministry of Defense says the F-18 crashed near a Royal Air Base in Suffolk. British officials say the jet went down shortly after takeoff. New polling this morning showing Donald Trump continuing as a favorite of Republican voters, and Trump on ABC's Good Morning America.
I will fight for it. We want to make our country great again. We want to make America great again. We want to just do things that can be done, and there are so many things to be done.
In New York this morning, an NYPD officer is dead, shot in the line of duty last night. Police Commissioner Bill Bratton.
4 police officers murdered in 11 months. It's about as bad as it gets. And we lost 6 in the line of duty, but 4 murdered in the line of duty.
Police Commissioner Bill Bratton talking about 33-year-old Randolph Holder, a 5-year veteran of the force who was killed. Congressman Paul Ryan willing to run for Speaker of the House, but that willingness comes with conditions.
What I told members is, if you can agree to these requests, and if I can truly be a unifying figure, then I will gladly serve.
And Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz last night said he would drop out of the race for Speaker of the House and throw his backing behind Paul Ryan. Former Virginia Senator Jim Webb abandoning his bid for the Democratic presidential nomination.
This does not reduce in any way my concerns for the challenges facing our country, my belief that I can provide the best leadership in order to meet these challenges.
In a statement in Washington, Webb remarked that political candidates are being pulled to ideological extremes. You probably can't afford to own a Ferrari, or maybe you can, but beginning today, you can also own a piece of the company. Shares of the stock in that legendary Italian exotic sports car company and racing company began trading on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol RACE, R-A-C-E. Shares for Ferrari open up at $52 apiece. A number of people are without a home after a fire destroyed an apartment block in Oak Park overnight. Cubs are one loss away from the end of their season. Mets have a commanding 3-0 series advantage after a 5-2 win last night at Wrigley. And a major ride-sharing company is making a push for access to Chicago's airports. Uber released TV and radio ads yesterday morning, lobbying the city to allow pickups at O'Hare and Midway. Rookie Steven Matz will get the start for the Mets tonight at Wrigley, while Jason Hamill goes for the Cubs in a do-or-die Game 4. Royals take a commanding series advantage over Toronto with a 14-2 win. And at 8:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher wants the left to get real about guns.
Because we know that the shooter in Oregon would have absolutely obeyed the no concealed weapons permit law on campus at Umpqua Community College, right? Of course he would have. He was a good guy. He was just misunderstood. Bunch of damn fools. These people on the left aren't willing to have a serious conversation about guns.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
High achieving students, now is the time to take ownership of your career. Come to Strive's conference on the morality of value creation and trade to meet top business leaders, mid-career professionals, leading intellectuals, and other enterprising students. Learn how you can create value and build your career. The conference is free for current students. Pay a $50 fee to reserve your spot, then get a refund of your fee, lodging, and travel expenses when you attend. Take full advantage of this opportunity online right now at striveclubs.org. That's striveclubs.org. Enrollment is open now. striveclubs.org. STRIVE clubs.org. Parents, family, friends, teachers, and professors, please make sure to pass this information on to a student who is serious about making the most of their life. The Morality of Value Creation and Trade Conference in Atlanta, November 6th through November 8th. This is an impressive opportunity at essentially no cost. striveclubs.org. STRIVE clubs.org.
Honey, it's official. I'm running for office. Bob Bunn is going to run.
But the election is around the corner. You haven't even begun.
Hey, be nice, hun. I went to electiongraphics.us. They designed this sharp logo and are printing everything we need to help win votes. Walk cards, door hangers, yard signs, flyers, banners, even these awesome buttons.
Ooh, how fun.
Electiongraphics.us. I even had them take my campaign photo. Here it is. What do you think?
Bob Bunn, your face beams like the sun.
Electiongraphics.us works with you to develop the visual message of your campaign, whether it be local, state, or national in scope. Electiongraphics.us works with your existing graphics or can help design eye-catching brand and visuals that will deliver your message. Electiongraphics.us will ensure that your brand and message are clean, consistent, and clear.
Bob Bunn, you've won!
Without electiongraphics.us, I couldn't even have begun.
Electiongraphics.us, 847-224-8757. That's 847-224-8757.
8:37, the news, a service of the Foundation for a Better Life. She didn't just visit the sick and poor. She moved in because they needed help. Mother Teresa couldn't do it all, but gave her all. Compassion. Pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. Let's get an update on the roads in our ChicagoRadioDeals.com traffic center. In for Jim, here's Al.
Hi, Mike. Reagan westbound is jammed solid between the Fox River Bridge and Highway 31. An overturned vehicle left 2 lanes are blocked. Report of serious injuries there. On the Edens, 33 minutes like Cook into the Kennedy Junction, 32 on the outbound trip. Kennedy inbound to downtown still heavy, an hour 4, 41 back out to O'Hare. Eisenhower into the post office, an hour 19, 61 back out to Thorndale. Stevenson an hour 6 into Lakeshore Drive from 355, just 37 on the outbound side. And Dan Ryan into downtown is worse, 39 minutes now from 95th to downtown, no outbound delays. 57 inbound heavy from 111th to the Ryan. Bishop Ford inbound slows from 103rd to the Ryan. Lakeshore Drive is still stacked up southbound between Bryn Mawr and North Avenue, even though an earlier accident is cleared. Still 40 minutes from Hollywood to Monroe. Traffic answers when you need the most. I'm Al Verdi on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Air Comfort, your commercial HVAC solution provider. Variable cloudy today, breezy and warm, near 76. 58 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Revealed with Randy Barcella. Heard each and every Sunday at 8 a.m. on AM 560, The Answer.
Meet the Mets. Meet the Mets.
Okay, Martin O'Malley. You want me to sing me?
Yeah.
Oh, I love this song. Don't twist my arm.
I'm just caught up in the moment.
You can't win with 2 solo home runs. Can't win the game. We weren't as good as the Mets. What can I tell you? Everyone, I felt like the team played scared yesterday. The fans seemed scared. It was just a really bizarre atmosphere. It was so reminiscent.
It was the Cubs returning to form.
Oh, it was so reminiscent of 2003 when all we had to do was win 1 of 2 games at home. That's all we had to do, and we were winning. And
that's not reminiscent of 2003.
No, because people were nervous. The fans were nervous. The players looked nervous. It was that same feeling that I had.
There's no winning going on with the Cubs against the Mets. Daniel Murphy, by the way,
he's extraordinary.
Well, he's 6 homers in the postseason. He had 14 during the year. That guy is in the zone. I think they should actually suspend the entire game. Just make it like the All-Star game, Daniel Murphy versus Kyle Schwarber, a home run hitting contest. And whoever wins that wins the series.
Sure.
How about that?
Yeah, so it's do or die time for the Cubs.
For more intelligent ideas, we're now joined by Peggy Kaczynski, our friend from NBC5, sports reporter for NBC5. Peggy, thanks for joining us.
Oh, I don't know if it's much more intelligent. Oh, boy. What we're seeing is just so many deflated hopes right now. You could just tell how there was no energy left. You did not feel any comeback in the making last night at all. They were beaten.
That's what I was going to ask you. You're close to the team, covering it on a daily basis here. Is there real hope left among the Cubs players? Forget the fans for a second, but the players, do they really feel like they can make a comeback, or are they just kind of saying the pro forma things you have to say?
Yeah, no, I think that I think that they'll say, listen, there is still one more game. And if you can look at a series as one game at a time, anything can happen. The Red Sox did it, came down 0-3. They can do it, but the problem is that, a week ago we were doing a story on how this team can play small ball, and then that sets them up for the long ball. And all we've seen the last couple of games is just the long ball. 3 runs. They're going to have to manufacture more base runners. They have to get guys on base. They have to score more runs. And I think you just saw that they felt beat when they started breaking down with the mistakes in the outfield and the infield. They had opportunities to make plays that they didn't make plays. I think that's where the first time you saw them mentally beat as well. And I think you'll see them come back today with, that today is when they're going to need that whole Rocky effort of, it's not over yet. Let's go for the comeback.
But the Mets pitching, it's so amazing. Jason DeGrom retired 11 batters in a row. This is his 3rd win of the postseason. They just seem unstoppable.
Yeah, as much as we were talking since Pittsburgh and St. Louis that the Cubs are just playing a magical season, guess what the Mets are too? The Mets are playing out of their minds. Everyone who has seen this team is saying the same thing. This is not the same team that they watched all year. They are playing phenomenal. These pitchers, they weren't even sure if Matt Harvey was going to pitch, and he throws a great game 1. Syndergaard, they weren't sure, what to do with him. He throws a great game 2. So Yeah, everyone. And this is what you need. And if you remember with the White Sox when they went to the World Series, you need to get hot and you need to have some phenomenal career years out of guys. And that's what all of a sudden the Mets are doing now in the postseason.
So the pitching matchup today, we have Hamill on the mound. They have Steve Matz. What do you know about him?
Well, I think, when you get to the end of your rotation, this is when you should see guys starting to be able to hit. So I think you should see the Cubs picking up more hits. You're going to see the bullpens very early on both sides. I mean, the Mets want to just wrap it up. They want to wrap it up, go home, prepare for a World Series. The Cubs are going to do anything and everything they can to keep the series going. So if you thought that Kyle Hendricks was maybe an early hook last night, I think you're going to see both sides are going to go to their bullpens early. You could see the starting pitchers back in out of relief. I think if the Cubs don't jump on early, then there's trouble because this is when you need to score early. When you hit the fourth man in the rotation, you need to put runs on the board in the first inning.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Katz, he spent most of the season pitching in the Pacific League, so he doesn't have a lot of major league experience. So if they can't get to him, then...
But look at a lot of these guys in the Mets lineup were all called up, just like the Cubs weren't on. They were all in the minors up until the middle of the year. So there's a lot of unknowns with these guys, and everyone's settling into their grooves right now. I'll tell you what, I think that what the Cubs did well was they were finally containing Curtis Granderson, because when you get that leadoff man on base, that is really tough. And they were stealing bases on the Cubs last night, the last couple of games. Now the Cubs need to do that. Dexter Fowler leading off needs to get on base to set the table for the big bats in your lineup.
And what about Cahill's wild pitch last night? Do you think that was
planned
in any way to get the runner out at home?
No. I think that Cahill just had a lot of stuff on his pitches. I think the trouble came in after the first two went in the dirt. I think that's when Cespedes knew he was going. And I don't really fault Cahill. I don't fault Montero. Cahill just had a lot of nasty stuff on his pitches. Those are the things that start to go a team's way. And you could just feel everybody kind of tighten up a little bit after that.
It kind of feels like the Cubs are playing the way St. Louis played against the Cubs, which is every mistake they make, the Mets are taking advantage of, and the few mistakes the Mets are making, the Cubs are not taking advantage of.
Yeah, that's a good point. And in postseason baseball, that's exactly what you have to do, because runs are so hard to come by. You have to take advantage of them. Remember, was it game 2 when Castro didn't take second, and then he ended up stealing second because he knew he should have been on second base. So you have to take advantage of mistakes. Kyle Schwarber looked a little shaky in left field. That first one, boy, he was able to adjust, but he had to come back over his head to adjust to catch it. The second one that went off his glove. I mean, when you start seeing guys making mistakes like that, you know that they're playing tight.
All right, Peggy Kaczynski, wait till next year. Thanks, Peggy Kaczynski, NBC 5 Sports Reporter. Thanks for joining us. Good luck tonight. Have fun.
All right.
Today is October 21st, 2015. Do you know where we should be right now, Dan?
Where should we be?
Here?
Wait a minute. Cubs win World Series. Yeah, it's something, huh? I wish I could go back to the beginning of the season. Put some money on the Cubbies.
So in that scene, the Cubs beat Miami to win the World Series. And, we thought it was a prophetic statement. Oh, it's going to come to fruition. This is the year. But the screenwriter who wrote that, Bob Gale, he's a lifelong St. Louis Cardinals fan. And he said he picked the Cubs because he thought it would never, ever happen. and it's the craziest storyline.
And he was right.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You want to go to the game, Dan? Huh?
Mets game?
Yeah. No, the Cubs game. We'll see if we can hook you up. Okay? But I'm
you
going to
and
hook
your
you up.
fancy friends.
Yeah, hook you up with the forecast right now. Sunshine, breezy, a few high clouds. We can't rule out a passing shower by the afternoon, but get out there and enjoy it, folks. It's going to be 76 degrees. And then tonight around game time, 66 degrees, cloudy skies. And tomorrow, a lot cooler. Sunshine, high clouds, and a high of 63. Let's get the travel times. Here's Al Verdi, who's been filling in for Jim Telemonte.
Hey, we have troubles on westbound Reagan Memorial. It is jammed up between the Fox River Bridge and after Route 31. An overturned vehicle has the 2 left lanes blocked. Serious injuries reported there. Then on the Edens inbound, it's heavy. 40 minutes Lake Hook into the Kennedy Junction. 27 back out. Kennedy inbound still jams up. An hour 4 O'Hare to downtown. 35 in from Montrose. Express will save you about 12 minutes. The Ohio feeder ramp is full. Kennedy outbound 41 to O'Hare. Eisenhower in an hour 20 to the post office, an hour 1 back out to Thorndale. Stevenson an hour 6 into Lakeshore Drive, only 37 back out to 355. Dan Ryan inbound is 39 minutes 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford inbound from Cottage Grove to the Ryan traffic is stacked up. Lakeshore Drive southbound still very heavy from Bryn Mawr down to North Avenue from an accident that cleared a while ago from Hollywood to Monroe, still about a 40-minute trip. I'm Al Verdi in the ChicagoRadioDeals.com Traffic Center.
Whoa, this is heavy. Thank you to all of our listeners who have purchased thousands of MyPillows over the last 18 months and are enjoying your best sleep ever. But that still leaves thousands of you who haven't taken advantage of the buy one, get one free offer. What are you waiting for? It is so important to get a great night's sleep. It helps with your disposition the next day. It helps with your energy levels. Don't wait any longer. MyPillow does also help with snoring and headaches and neck pain, insomnia, allergies. Plus, it's washable and it keeps its shape to give you support where you need it most. It's the official pillow of the National Sleep Foundation. And did you know it is American-made? Great company. For the MyPillow buy one, get one free offer, visit MyPillow.com. Type in Amy in the promo code or call this number, 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
A career isn't supposed to be mundane. It's supposed to be motivating, satisfying, and rewarding. If you're looking for an opportunity to work with the support, reliability, and resources you need to be successful, then it's time to join RE/MAX Professionals. Ed Lukasik Jr. isn't just an ordinary award-winning real estate broker. It's his marketing strategy that makes him the country's 88th best seller, according to the Wall Street Journal. He goes beyond traditional thinking to make sure his agents and his results are second to none. You too can now be an agent with a broker that lead shares, a broker that provides state-of-the-art technology and has business waiting for you from the very first day, a broker that trains you hands-on with techniques that you need to keep achieving success. If you're not picking your jaw up off the floor yet, then at least pick up the phone. Call 630-679-5454 and see what it's like to be an agent with Ed Lukasik's family at RE/MAX Professionals. That's 630-679-5454.
I'm Lex, CEO of Balance of Nature. At Balance of Nature, we believe in real communication. Whether you call into the office or hear a success story on the radio, you can be sure it's real, unsolicited, and unscripted conversation.
They're just awesome. I keep telling people because they keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. And then my bad cholesterol was 62, now it's 52. So, and then with my blood work, the doctor said, I don't know what you're doing, but everything is just perfect.
When you can give your body a full variety of 31 different fruits and vegetables in their 100% natural, whole food form, you receive the unmatched balance of nutrition. Call toll-free 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and be sure to enter promo code CHICAGO.
Coming up next, it's me, Mike Gallagher, right after Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560, The Answer.
Well, looky here. The gender-bending feminization of men isn't sitting too well with one feminist, self-identified, a woman named Kate Islin, who wrote an op-ed in The Guardian, Why I Won't Date Another quote-unquote male feminist.
Male feminist.
You know what I call male feminists?
Oxymorons? No, what?
Chicks.
Hey.
Sally's.
Sally's.
In theory, it sounds excellent, she writes. it would be a hard slog to have a relationship with someone whose socio-political stance differs hugely from yours. So when I first began identifying as a feminist, I thought that my beliefs would carry over seamlessly into my dating life as well. Unfortunately, not so simple. From the man who opened a text conversation with a photo of his naked chest and encouraged me to reciprocate in the name of the Free the Nipple movement, to the fellow who agonized over accepting a sex act because despite enjoying them, he found these acts simply too degrading to let me perform. Dating male feminists turned out to be one of the least empowering decisions I've ever made. Feminist sanctioned romance tend to fall into one of two categories. Those men who use our attraction as a sign of approval and seek out trophy feminists to clear their conscience of any inherent patriarchal wrongdoing, and outright predators who employ a bare-bones knowledge of feminist discourse to target any young woman whose politics so much as graze the notion of sex positivity, whatever these words mean.
What? Are you speaking English over there?
I get,
sex positivity?
You can understand why she's having a hard time finding a fella.
There's an app for that.
She talked about male feminist horror stories, including those that have been told to her by her friends.
Okay, let me hear.
For example, I had lunch with a man whose openness about sex and sexuality impressed me until I declined his offer for an afternoon quickie. His response made it clear that his feminism had no room for my apparent frigidity. So this is the kind of anything goes world that this feminist was believed to be would be a good, and it turns out to be quite a bad for her. Boy, who could have predicted that? A lot of people.
I think a lot of people are going to be staying away from her. Somebody that you might want to stay away from. I am friends with somebody at church.
What's his name?
It's not a him. It's a
man, baby.
No, it's not a he. It's a she.
Oh.
And she has a little crush on you, Dan. And I was at a church fundraiser.
She has a crush or she wants to crush me?
No, she
it's
has
the latter.
a crush on you. And she pulled me aside. We had a church function on Friday. And she wanted to know how she could get to you. What's the best way to reach him? Or how can I find him? And he's such a bad boy. So bad. Oh, he's so naughty. I really want to meet him. Do you think he'll meet me?
What are you talking about? This is what you talk about at church?
No, it's a church fundraiser. And she pulled me aside. And she listens every day. Hi, if you're listening. Probably not going to talk to me ever again.
Yeah.
But,
turning it into a Tim Meadows skit.
But the problem is she's married.
That's a big problem.
Minor detail, Dan.
Yeah.
But, no, she does want to go out to lunch with you. I can't see this ending badly. And I was just wondering if I have your information.
Sure. Yeah, it's just lunch. You can chaperone. That'd be enjoyable.
No, but she likes you because she thinks you're really nasty, and some women find that very attractive.
That's kind of one of those backhanded compliments I've heard so much about. I didn't know that was my strongest quality, but I appreciate it.
No, she likes it. She likes your sternness. She likes your aggressiveness on the air.
Yeah.
And that you're naughty sometimes.
What else does she like?
I'm not going to say it on the radio.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, Tom Sadeka, CEO of Precision Payroll of America. We're the 32-year-old company whose first employee and first client are still working together. If you are like me and are listening to this station, chances are we hold some common values and truths we hold self-evident. That's the main reason Precision Payroll attracts great clients and great employees. Precision Payroll of America operates at the core with fundamental principles that drive our attitude and delivery of service. We work hard to provide the best in pricing and value. In addition, with our great team that has been with us a long time, you are ensured a lasting relationship with people who understand your needs and always stand ready to serve. What sets us apart is that we view what we do as a great opportunity to serve others in a professional and technical capacity while building long-lasting relationships. That's what we treasure. If this message hits home, please call me at 630-242-1507. That's 630-242-1507 or on the web at precisionpayroll.com.
All right, don't read anything into this, Amy's friend. Guys, when it comes to your health, do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone? I do. Low T Center makes it easy. You walk in, take a simple blood test, and know your results within minutes. If you're a man over 40 and have noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or libido, you may have low testosterone. Low T makes you feel tired and grumpy. It can raise your cholesterol and cause weight gain. Low T Center's experienced medical staff will educate you on the benefits and risks of testosterone replacement. At Low T Center, it takes just minutes for results, and services are covered by most health insurance. They even have convenient and flexible hours, so do yourself a favor and get your levels checked. Call 630-409-4305. That's 630-409-4305. Or go to lowtcenter.com and tell them Dan Prof sent you.
Slow down, step back in time, and spend the night at the Schuster Mansion in Milwaukee, where history and tradition come together. The Schuster Mansion is not just a bed and breakfast. It's a private retreat created for you to rest, relax, and enjoy. Each guest room has been lovingly curated with period furniture, romantic decor, and antiques. There's a modern private bath for every room. Whether you're celebrating a special event or just want to escape from the everyday bustle, the Schuster Mansion has just the room or suite to fit your mood. Each overnight stay includes a homemade breakfast in the Victorian dining room and fresh chocolate chip cookies any time of day. Be sure to reserve a seat at the table for high tea, featuring a buffet of flavored teas and a variety of savory scones and sweets. Call Laura Sue to make a reservation at 414-342-3210. 414-342-3210. It may be Wisconsin, but why stay in a cabin when you can stay in a castle? SchusterMansion.com.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning and making us a part of your day every day. Our thanks to David Stripling, the technical producer, and Cesar Perez, the executive producer.
Shake and bake. Enjoy the final Cubs game of the season today.
Yeah. The new season starts right now. But here, let's go back into the newsroom with a man who's always optimistic. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the stories we're watching right now. A U.S. naval pilot has died in a fighter jet crash in Britain. Fox with the latest on that story. And the College of DuPage has fired their president. Cloudy, breezy day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. An accused cop killer is now in police custody in New York City, released from a hospital the morning after a shooting that left Officer Randolph